Traffic Safety Administration, and the Ad Council.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. This is KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. The 42 million Americans who need Uncle Sam's help to buy food for them and their families are now in the financial middle of the continuing federal government shutdown. Benefits from SNAP, the government food aid program, have been cut off. A federal judge ordering the Trump administration to use emergency funds to restore the program. ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
Jenna Jackson, a mother of 4 who runs a tree farm in Oklahoma, says without medicated SNAP, she would have to make tough choices.
My dog is sick, but I have to eat. So the dog is ultimately going to have to suffer, or the kids are going to have to wear shoes that are too small for an extra month because we have to buy dinner.
President Trump calling on GOP lawmakers to end the filibuster. Writing on social media, it is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card.
Some states have initiated their own contingency plans, finding money in their budgets to pay SNAP benefits. And to end the shutdown, Democrats are demanding protection from expiring tax credits for those applying for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act. ABC's Alex Brachet.
One Utah woman we talked to, Stacey Cox, described it as devastating when she learned her premiums could jump over 300%. This year, she paid just under $500 for her and her husband. Next year, that is going up to more than $2,100. Others tell us they'll have to rely on less comprehensive plans just to get by.
Police are searching for suspected shooters in the Minneapolis area after police say one person was killed and 2 others injured overnight in the city's Dinkytown neighborhood near the University of Minnesota campus. Game 7 of the World Series tonight in Toronto. The Blue Jays look for their first World Series title since '93, while the Dodgers try to become the first team to win back-to-back championships in 25 years. Most Americans will set clocks back 1 hour before hitting the sack tonight, gaining 1 hour of sleep as daylight saving time ends. You're listening to ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
It's 12:03 at KSL News Radio. I'm Isabella Sosa. KSL's top local story this hour. A former Utah behavioral health director has been convicted in a major fraud and tax evasion case. The Utah State Tax Commission says Lillian Simiski, former program director of Measures of Effect Theoretically Relative, was found guilty of hiding more than $1 million of income. Investigators say she also filed more than 7,700 false Medicaid claims through her company and falsely applied for public assistance while claiming she had no income. Simiski was sentenced to 364 days in jail, 4 years of probation, and must repay over $2.7 million in restitution. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. There are reports of executions and mass killings in the western Sudanese city of El Fasher after the Sudanese army clashed with paramilitary forces. ABC's Marcus Moore reports.
There are reports that many have been abducted for ransom or executed as they fled for safety. And this war has been raging now for more than 2 years. The National Army is locked in a fight against the Rapid Support Force, or the RSF paramilitary group. And aid agencies have said the humanitarian crisis there is worsening, with Al Fasher surrounded and families cut off from basic supplies. A famine was declared there more than a year ago, and aid groups are calling for civilians to be protected as this war rages on.
More than 30,000 people have been forced to leave their homes in El Fasher. Health officials have issued new warnings and expanded recalls due to a listeria outbreak. ABC's Michelle Franzen has more.
Federal health officials say there are 2 new deaths and 7 new cases of listeria linked to prepared pasta meals since the CDC's last update in late September. The CDC shows 27 people reported becoming sick across 18 states. 25 of them were hospitalized and 6 have died. In addition, the CDC says one pregnant woman's associated illness resulted in the loss of her unborn baby. The prepackaged pasta foods are recalled from California-based Nate's Fine Foods. Health officials are warning customers to check their freezers and the FDA website. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Coming up, a dry, cloudy day. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 12:05.
You're the fall cleanup phenom, the titan of trimming. You wield a leaf blower like a surgeon does a scalpel. When it comes to your lawn, power moves are the only moves you make. That's why you just applied IFA's Fall and Winter Lawn Food for stronger roots and an early green up next spring. IFA's Fall and Winter Lawn Food. It's the ultimate lawn owner power move.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Construction westbound on State Road 145 in American Fork is causing just a little bit of congestion. The westbound lanes have shifted south and the speed limit is reduced to 40 miles per hour. The high for today is 65 and the low is 40. Tomorrow it'll get just a little warmer with a high of 67. Right now it's 58 and mostly cloudy. I'm Isabella Sosa, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, Cougar Nation. Welcome on into Cougar Sports Saturday on this Saturday, November 1st, the final chase to Big 12 championship football. Championship football is played this month, and it's going to be a huge month for not only BYU football, but BYU basketball as well. We have arrived at crossover season, and we are going to be breaking it all down, even on this bye week over the next 3 hours. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack filling in for Kyle Ireland today. Kyle is in Maui enjoying the sunshine and beaches of Hawaii on the bye week, and he'll be back next week. But, Nate, happy to have you on board. And Halloween good last night for you?
Halloween was great. You know, I didn't have as much candy as I probably would have liked, but it was good. We just hung out at my in-laws' house and went trick-or-treating with my son. He was dressed up as a BYU football player.
Fantastic.
I was a coach, my wife a referee, but it was a good Halloween.
That's good. It was I will say, though, last night I was passing out candy for trick-or-treaters. Only 2 kids showed up in my neighborhood in Murray. Is trick-or-treating just kind of done? It feels like it's kind of dying the more and more as years go by.
Maybe. My parents' house, they usually have about 20 people maybe each year. Last night at my in-laws, they had probably 50 or 60 kids. So not as much candy left over, which is a bummer.
I guess, I did see a story this week that the best zip code in the country for Halloween trick-or-treating is Lehi, Utah. So maybe I'm not in the right zip codes. Murray's just not the hot spot. It's not the epicenter for trick-or-treating, but nonetheless, I'm sure, Kalani Sitake and this BYU football team enjoyed the bye week. And Kalani even noted this week that he had a funny story where Taysom Hill was once handing out candy at his door, and ever since, kids have been saying, "Where's Taysom? Hey, it's Kalani Sitake's house. You got to hang out with the head coach." But these bye weekends traditionally seem to always happen here for BYU. Second consecutive year where Halloween week is the bye week. 7th time since 2011 that BYU has a bye on Halloween week. But it's a good chance, Nate, to kind of size up this BYU football team as they are 8-0, tied for 10th in the AP Top 25 poll. 4 games to go, 1/3 left of the season remaining. What do you feel about this team heading down to the final stretch of the season with Big 12 championship aspirations within reach?
Feeling really good about it. And I think when the season started, none of us expected to be 8-0 in this spot. Especially, I thought BYU could jump out to a good record early on because the schedule was kind of soft and it gradually got more and more difficult. But when I saw where the Iowa State game was placed right after Utah, and Utah has had a pretty good bounce back from last season, I didn't expect for BYU to be in this spot. And I think it's a great position for the bye week just because guys are starting to get more banged up. I don't remember this many injuries on the team last season. Last season, it seemed like it was a really healthy year for BYU football. This year, you've got guys like Jack Kelly, who's got a banged-up shoulder, and Isaiah Glasker's had some issues. Now, LJ Martin, we'll see where he's at. But I think it's a good spot for a bye where guys can kind of reset and get ready for the last 4 games of the season.
That's a great point on the injuries because you're right. Last year, it felt like the key guys were always available. And this year, that's being tested. Even early in the year when JoJo Phillips got injured against Stanford, he's been out since week 2. There's optimism from the coaching staff, including Aaron Roderick, that JoJo will return next week against Texas Tech. But it is a banged-up team, and hopefully they can get healthy. They can tap into that Chase Roberts Super Y power and get healed up as quick as possible. That's all the rage these days. Super Y is just taking off like a firestorm down in Provo, but the injuries have to slow down for BYU. They got to get healed up, and hopefully that bye allows for it because when you bring up LJ Martin, him going out with what appeared to be an upper body injury, shoulder injury for LJ Martin, it appeared to be in that game. Curious to see how he feels because LJ is critical for this team's success. I do believe, though, even if they had a game without LJ, maybe a game, maybe 2 at most, that you could win games still without LJ. You can get creative because with what they've done, even last week at Iowa State, the air from Bear Bachmeier, Bear's ability to have success running the football and quarterback draws, BYU can get creative. And I would imagine, too, Aaron Roderick with players like Parker Kingston, maybe you make some position switches happen. You're going to find ways to get it done. But LJ's huge because he's the best running back in the Big 12. He's one of the best running backs in college football. Hopefully he can have a speedy recovery and be back to full strength because if you do want to win a Big 12 title, you've got to have LJ.
Yeah, I think so. And one thing we talked about before the season even started is if you want to be in contention for a Big 12 championship, you have to grab great quarterback play. And I think last week was really the week where it kind of clicked for me where I'm like, man, Bear is special because he had some good performances against Arizona and Utah in the clutch, even this morning on College Game Day. Or was it? No, it was Big Noon Kickoff. And yes. Brady Quinn is saying that if he had one quarterback in the entire country to have the ball in his hands at the end of a game, he'd want Bear Bachmeier to have that ball. But I think last week when it shows it's kind of a one-dimensional team, and you have Preston Rex, but he's not the runner that LJ Martin is. And then you've got the Enoch Nawahine, who's been banged up on and off throughout the year. And you have, Pokai Haunga he didn't end up being on the team this season.
Yeah, day 3 of fall camp, he's gone. Day 1 of camp, he's there. Day 3, he's gone.
Hinckley Rapati is at practices all fall camp, and then he doesn't get his waiver. So it's kind of a bummer that BYU's in this position with the running backs. But I feel confident that Bear Bachmeier, and especially with the bye week, I think Aaron Roderick can be really creative in how maybe just more jet sweeps or something. But I think you saw in the first half and the second half last week against Iowa State, it was like 2 different teams. Like BYU really struggled out the gates, especially when LJ went down. They just didn't know how to move the ball. They come out after the break, and they're able to rattle off a 31-3 run. And so I think with an extra week of preparation, even if LJ can't go, I think BYU will be prepared and they'll have a good enough game plan to be able to move the ball.
I'm also curious to see maybe what lessons BYU can pull from think back to 2 years ago, and I bring that up because BYU had one of the worst rushing offenses in college football. I'm not suggesting that now, but just LJ's absence, if he is out against Texas Tech, and again, we'll find out more in the coming weeks officially when that availability reports, and we'll find out more on Monday from Kalani Sitake. But if he is absent, what lessons maybe can you pull from 2 years ago where you had a struggling ground attack against the Big 12, and you found a way to win a game against a Texas Tech program? I think BYU's learned a lot. And I just feel like this, and I bring that up because this coaching staff, with how much they've been together with Kalani and Aaron Roderick, they've gone through a lot offensively to where they've almost experienced everything now. And I feel like even if you have a key personnel loss, if LJ can't go, I think there's still a confidence and belief that we will find a way to get it done. When Jake Retzloff goes out the door and the quarterback situation feels like, where do you go next? They were very confident internally to the point where even in fall camp, I remember Aaron Roderick's like, hey, when I asked him the question, I said, what's kind of your message to Cougar Nation? He's like, hey, we got this. We know what we're doing. We will be fine. And they had that confidence then when people had doubts. I want to give them that benefit of the doubt this time. If they are down some key personnel, they will find a way. Same with the defensive side, too, with Jay Hill. They will find a way to make it work and get it done. So I don't look at any game remaining on the schedule and say, oh, chalk it up to an automatic loss, because I think BYU has just this amazing ability to find a way to get victories. That's their DNA since last year. But still, you want to really maximize your potential as a team this season. You want your full collection of guys down that stretch run, and hopefully that's sooner rather than later for this BYU team.
Yeah, I think people don't talk enough about the continuity on the coaching staff and how big that is, just because they know what the culture of the team is. Kalani always points to that. But I think one of the main points of emphasis the team has had is they just want to get out with a win. And it can get frustrating at times. You watch BYU play West Virginia, and you kind of wonder why is BYU not blowing these guys out? But that's kind of the DNA of this team, is they don't really care if it's by 1 point or by 7, and they start counting possessions. Aaron Roderick's talked about that throughout his time at BYU. Is, BYU's up by 10 points, and they start counting possessions in the second half. And so they don't care how it looks or by how many points it's done, as long as they get out with a win. And I feel like that works really well in this situation where you don't know exactly who's going to be lining up with on BYU's side next week, but the coaches are going to have a plan ready, and they're going to do what they can just to escape Lubbock with a win.
He's Nate Slack. I'm Mitch Harper. We're here on Cougar Sports Saturday up until 3 o'clock. We're live here at Broadcast House in Salt Lake City. We'll take our first break. On the other side, the college football playoff rankings get revealed for the first time this season. What are we expecting for BYU in those debut rankings? Let's hit on that next here on Cougar Sports Saturday. And then coming up at the bottom of the hour, Hank Bachmeier, older brother to Bear Bachmeier. He joins us live here on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and when I think of the holiday season, I always think of the Western Nut Company. They have been part of our family celebration for as long as I can remember. And during this season, when I talk about the warmth of the holidays, the main store in downtown Salt Lake City on 4th South absolutely represents it. When you walk through the doors, just the spirit and the feel, the smells, and the warmth of the holiday season washes over you, and you are going to find all kinds of goodies that are perfect for this time of year. I got to tell you, this gives me a real kick. Their Nut of the Month subscription delivers a variety of nut gift boxes right to the door throughout the year. And also, don't miss their holiday preview sale. It's getting underway November 6th, 7th, and 8th at 4th South and 3rd West. You are going to love everything you find. And if you can't get into the store, go online at westernnut.com.
It's the Wi-Fi nightmare. Your kids are gaming online, your spouse is streaming, and all you want to do is watch an interesting YouTube clip, but the rest of your family has swiped all the zippity bandwidth. And you get the spinning wheel thingy, and you sound like an 8-year-old kid. It's not fair! But it doesn't have to be that way. Just imagine if your Wi-Fi was a lot smarter. Picture it, your TV, your phone, laptop, even your fancy fridge working together to make life easier. Well, Xfinity makes that dream a reality. You'd think they're telepathic. Really smart Wi-Fi that knows when your device needs a boost. The best equipment to stream 4 games at once with multi-view, and Xfinity Mobile that gives you Wi-Fi where you need it and 5G everywhere else. No more fighting for bandwidth at the end of a long day. Every device gets exactly what it needs. That's the magic of Xfinity. It's seamlessly in tune with you. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs PPO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone,
Welcome to AutoZone.
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Let's go.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's Woodrow from Mint Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED? Well, you are not alone, and now there's a real solution that treats the root cause, not just the symptoms. Introducing our trifecta approach, a breakthrough combination of acoustic wave therapy, hormone replacement, and cryotherapy, all designed to restore blood flow, boost performance, and rebalance your hormones. Whether it's ED or hormonal imbalance, if you're ready to reignite your love life, this treatment helps bring back your energy, your drive, and your confidence. And right now, when you call, you'll receive a free consultation, a blood flow ultrasound, and an intimacy gift. That's a $650 value, absolutely free. And here's the bonus. The next 20 callers will also receive a 5-night stay at a luxury resort in Hawaii just for taking the first step. But you must call now. With 2 convenient locations in Layton and Sandy, help is closer than you think. Call 801-804-8000 now. That's 801-804-8000. Mint Medical Clinic. We'll get you back to mint condition.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Can't believe it's already November. Week 10 college football action. We're watching some Big 12 action right now here in the studio. West Virginia looks like they're about to, I don't say pull off the upset, but they're up 2 scores on Houston. They just had a pick 6. They Falatau Satuala to Houston pass and took it to the house for a pick 6. They're up 31-21 in Houston, and that's noteworthy because Houston is 7-1 overall, 4-1 in the Big 12. They're in the thick of that Big 12 championship race and nationally ranked too, which should be a wild stretch run in the coming weeks here in the Big 12. And coming up on Tuesday, the college football playoff initial rankings are unveiled. And Nate Slack, Mitch Harper here. Nate's filling in for Kyle Ireland this week. Kyle's in lovely Hawaii. These college football playoff rankings, Nate, always make me a little uneasy because I feel like BYU, I believe, deserves to be, like 7, maybe even 6. But I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if I saw them at 11 or 12. How are you feeling about the potential of where BYU lands in the initial rankings coming up on Tuesday night in the playoff rankings?
I feel the same as you. Anytime you get a selection committee involved in BYU's rankings or an NCAA tournament or the college football playoff, I just know BYU's going to get burned at some point.
It's true, man. That's how it goes.
It's so tough. I agree with you. I think BYU deserves to be in that 7 spot. I look at Georgia Tech and they're inside the top 10. I think they're ranked number 7. What has Georgia Tech done this season that BYU hasn't? And that's something that's been frustrating me. And so I think BYU deserves to be to 7. Fully expecting them to be at 11 or 12. And I think it sets up a big game next week because if BYU beats Texas Tech on the road, like, yeah, that's an opportunity to move up a few spots in the rankings. But on the flip side, if BYU loses to Texas Tech, and it's not the same example as it was last year with Kansas, but when BYU lost that game to Kansas, BYU just dropped like a rock. And it just took them completely out of contention to the point where they're ending the season and they're 10-2, and they're nowhere in the conversation of being in that large, even though they have a win at SMU. So it's not quite to that level if they were to lose to Texas Tech, but I think it's going to be in a spot where if they do lose and they're in that 12 spot, they maybe drop down to like 16 or 17, and then it's really hard to claw your way up from there unless you're the winning the Big 12 conference.
The College Football Playoff Committee always says that they tear down the rankings each week, and when they get new data that comes in, they'll build out a new rankings. But I do believe that first initial poll position is critical. And if BYU can, be in that 6 area, 7, I think that would be huge for BYU and for the Big 12, because then you're getting into the conversation where maybe you could get a first-round bye. This year it's different where, yes, you get 5 conference champions. The highest-ranked conference champions automatically get into the playoff. That's the same as last year, but what's different, last season, the 4 highest-ranked conference champions got the 4 highest seeds, so they got first-round bye. This year, that's not the case. It's straight seeding. So if BYU is, say, ranked 6th, they will probably be the 6th seed in a bracket if the season ended on Tuesday. Obviously, a lot of football left to be played, so that's something of note. But I also like the fact, too, that if they were in that 6 to 8 territory, you're talking about if, you control your destiny and win football games and go win the Big 12 or whatever, you'll have a chance to play a home game in a playoff in Provo. Oh, my goodness. Imagine that, where you're getting maybe an SEC team coming to Provo in December at LaVell Edwards Stadium, a place that has great atmosphere already. I can't imagine what David Almodovar is going to draw up in December for a playoff game if BYU could get into that territory. So I think that's why it's critical, too, for BYU to start high in the rankings, because maybe it's not even the first-round bye piece, but having a home game potentially and controlling your destiny on that front, that would be huge for BYU.
That would be huge. And then you also start talking about, if BYU does get to host a game, you're playing a team that's lower ranked than you do. And so you get kind of into that matchup territory where you're playing, yes, one of the top 12 teams in the country, but they're not the number 1 team in the country, or number 3. And that's what gets tough if you're you sneak in that 10-11 spot. 12 is probably going to go to the winner of the American or whatever G6 team comes out. But if you're in that 11 range, and then you're kind of stuck playing the higher ranked teams, and that's also something that was new with the top 4 conference champions not getting the automatic bye, just because last year you had Oregon and Ohio State matching up, and then Oregon gets knocked out. So if BYU can do what they're expected to do at this point by a lot of fans. Even on this morning, or maybe it was last night, but Andre Ware had BYU as a 3 seed in his bracket.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe a little bit high, but he doesn't have the same scars that we do.
I think the thing is, though, is that power conference team, 8-0, undefeated in their league, playing at a high level, just came off a 2-touchdown victory on the road in a hostile environment in Ames. You took down a Utah team that 2 weeks ago, everyone is talking about, even now, like Utah's a huge favorite against Cincinnati. A lot of respect being given to Utah. Utah could end up a 10-win team. BYU beat that team. Head-to-head matters. I just think that BYU, maybe it's not the greatest strength of schedule to this point, but they're taking care of business. They're winning games every which way possible, and it's been a pretty balanced schedule. And the great thing is, too, is that hopefully BYU can have a strong starting position in the rankings, because you're going to have Texas Tech, you're going to have Cincinnati, TCU's a 6-2 football team. Those are tough football games, and maybe it's impossible to win them all. I think BYU has a chance to win them all. I just think BYU is that good of a team. But hopefully there's a little bit of respect given to not only BYU but the Big 12, because this league does have depth, and that if you do come out of Lubbock or you come out of Cincinnati and get a win over TCU, those should be viewed as quality wins that give you a big boost. And I think that's what I'm really curious to see with this committee, is the respect to give to BYU, but the depth of the Big 12 as well, because then you can start to entertain the classic SEC line of thinking, oh, that's a quality loss if that does happen. Whereas BYU, when they do suffer losses, it's like, okay, as you said, they plummet. They're out of the rankings and out of sight and out of mind because at season's end last year, a lot of people came to their senses after San Antonio and said, hey, maybe we should have given BYU a little more credit and said they should have been in the playoff when, hey, too little, too late. It's now New Year's. You should have thought of that in November. So hopefully we see the playoff committee give BYU some respect for the work that they put into this point. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll be joined by Hank Bachmeier, older brother, former college quarterback, with Bear Bachmeier next here on KSL.
Attention Jazz Nation. The long wait is finally over. Mountain basketball is back and better than ever. Let's go! All tickets are on sale now, and you won't want to miss the action. Jump on the opportunity to watch your favorite players live and in person. Whether you're after season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, the Utah Jazz has got your back. There's a plan for every fan. Don't miss out. Secure your seats today and be part of the excitement all season long. Let's go! Visit UtahJazz.com today.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now, so you don't miss an episode.
It's 12:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Isabella Sosa. KSL's top local story this hour. Layton police are asking for help finding someone suspected of vandalizing a veterans memorial at Commons Park. Investigators say graffiti was found earlier this month on the Vietnam War Memorial Wall replica, a K-9 statue, and nearby areas. Surveillance photos show a possible suspect near the site on October 3rd. The city has since cleaned and restored the memorial, costing about $2,000. If you have any information, contact Layton Police. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The FDA suggested it may try to remove certain fluoride supplement products from the market. ABC's Brian Clark has details.
Fluoride has been a pillar of U.S. dental care for decades. It strengthens teeth, but the FDA says it has limited benefits for children's teeth and may actually be linked to emerging safety concerns. The American Dental Association disputes those claims, saying there are no significant health problems. But on Friday, the FDA says it's no longer recommending fluoride supplements used to strengthen teeth in children younger than 3 and those who don't face serious risks of tooth decay. This does not affect products like toothpaste. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Daylight savings ends early tomorrow morning. ABC News chief medical correspondent Dr. Tara Narula says the time change can actually harm your health.
Mental health issues, mood problems, appetite changes like an increase in appetite. And we know that it takes sometimes 7 days to weeks for us to really adjust.
Clocks will fall back 1 hour tomorrow at 2 a.m. Coming up, a warmer week ahead. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 12:32.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Guys, don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online, where Gage's skilled ring designers will work with her to create the perfect setting, matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com. We're engagement's middle name.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. There's not much to talk about traffic-wise. It's been fairly uneventful today, and the roads are looking clear. Foothill Rug Gallery's semi-annual sale. Up to 70% off already low direct importer prices. If you've wanted a quality handmade rug, this is the sale. Foothill Rugs, 1460 South Foothill Drive. The high for today is 65 with a 0% chance of rain. Temperatures will inch up to the high 60s through Wednesday before dipping to the 50s on Thursday and Friday. Right now, it's mostly cloudy and 57. I'm Isabella Sosa, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
It's a fantastic Saturday. I appreciate all of you for spending some time with us on your weekend with us today. And it's sponsored by Any Hour Services, electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack with you here at Broadcast House in Salt Lake City, Utah. We got to get out to the phone line and welcome in our first guest of the day. He's Hank Bachmeier, older brother to Bear and Tiger Bachmeier, former college quarterback himself. Hank, how you doing on this Saturday?
I'm doing all right. Just, hanging out after Halloween yesterday. It was my 9-month-old's first Halloween, so it was a fun time.
Awesome. What did your 9-month-old dress up as?
Yeah, Bronco, he was a monkey. So my fiancée Jenna was all fired up for him to be a monkey, so that's what he was.
I got to ask you, Hank, since we bring up Halloween, was it kind of surreal to see your brothers being, or everyone in Cougar, a lot of people in Cougar Nation dressing up as your brothers, bears and tigers? Were you ever a costume during your college career where people were dressing up as you?
I can't recall. Bears. It's been pretty awesome to see as an older brother just how much the fan base of BYU has just been supporting him. So it's been awesome to see. I didn't even necessarily see it. A bunch of people just from all over the country sent me what was the one with the guy, he's dragging the guy or whatever. So that was cool to see, no doubt.
How impressed have you been though with Bear, your brother, and how he's performing in this BYU team as a whole, being at 8-0 in the second bye week?
Yeah, I think he's doing okay. He can always do better. So I think. I think all you guys are hyping him up, and I like how Coach Kalani is just trying to keep him humble. And, I think that's kind of like the job of myself and others. And he's a very humble young man himself, but just, I think all this stuff, all this attention he's getting, in Nick Saban's words, is all rat poison right now. He's got a tough stretch. The team's got a tough stretch in front of him. So just stay process-oriented and keep working hard. But it is really incredible to see just how much better he's gotten throughout the year, from the beginning to now. And then really what I didn't expect was just how poised he's been and just how in the moment and how present he's been and been able to they've been down a few games, and for him to just, like I said, stay process oriented, stick to the plan, one play at a time. It's been really impressive to see.
Hank, how does that happen? Is that something that you either have or you don't have, or is that something you just try to teach yourself? Is that something that a coach can kind of instill in you, or what is it that Bear has to kind of stay cool in tough moments and be able to come out and play well?
Yeah, I think it's definitely just it is an innate instinctual predisposition, I think, but at the same time, I think it's a trainable attribute, and I think having Tiger there, to be honest, and also A-Rod and Coach Kalani and Matt Mitchell, and just the ecosystem of BYU, that when I went on the visit there initially, I just felt like this was a great environment to be able to be self-confident, and they really instill confidence. It's not that chew you out when you mess up staff and team, and so I think that was a great support system. And then, like I said, I think it's a part of him, but at the same time, I think it's a trainable attribute. And I think having Tiger there, Tiger's, kind of a hippie too. And so you see him doing their grounding, and I'm sure they do breath work, and I'm sure that they probably do some type of like meditation type of stuff, and just all of that stuff encompasses what you're seeing on the field. In my personal opinion, just for him to be process-oriented and stay in the moment, it helps you when you're out on the field, when you're just focusing on being in the present moment. And so it's been awesome to see, and hopefully he just continues to do it. But I've just been, as an older brother, I've just been so proud of him and how he's been able to respond to adversity and just not falter and not shake. So it's been fun to see.
Talk with Hank Bachmeyer, former college quarterback here on KSL News Radio. I'm curious, Hank, what's your impressions of just this offense? When you watch as someone who's been in the college game and done it at a high level yourself, what do you like about this offense, seeing your brothers operate in this, and just your overall impressions of how this offense operates?
Yeah, I think initially when Bear was looking at going there, I obviously had some familiarity with the system of BYU and A-Rod, and competing against them for a while was just tremendous respect for what he does. There's a very multiple style of offense, a very pro style, but it's multiple, so you can game plan for specific defenses. You're not necessarily weak in any particular area. Obviously, they emphasize the run game. They kind of marry everything off the run game, but as you saw last week, you kind of had to throw the ball around, and they did a great job with that. And then having a great defense, it's just it's a very there's supporting cast. The special teams, special teams play last week. The defense coming up with stops, adjusting later in the second half, and they kind of feed off each other, I feel like, and so that's really powerful. And really the biggest thing, like I said, is they've come back from a few games here now, and that's a really just great quality and great trait to have, especially going down the stretch, if they can continue to keep that going.
So your freshman season at Boise State, you guys were working towards a pretty special year. You only had one loss in the regular season. How hard is it to keep locked in on the next game and not start kind of counting down the games and trying to see where you're at in the playoff picture or in New Year's Six Bowl picture? How difficult is it to stay locked in on one game at a time instead of looking ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's what you focus on, or what you perceive is what you get. That's your reality. And so, obviously, I'm just big brother here, but I'm sure Coach Sitake has them locked in and just focused on what they can control. And from my understanding, last year, after going however many games you guys went undefeated and then kind of went on a little skid there, I'm sure that's in the back of his mind. And you can just never be complacent. Just like I said, focus on the now. And it's just really important with your leaders, with your coaches, to just have accountability and understand where you're at. And there's still a really long way to go, and anything can happen. So you just have to focus on what you can control in the moment.
Hank, where do you think Bear has improved the most since he arrived in June to now?
Yeah, to be honest, those first 3 games, I think I honestly, in my mind, I didn't necessarily tell him this, or I didn't want to. I want him to be confident, but at the same time, I really truly think those first 3 games he should not have had an incompletion. It literally not one, and it was a testament to his decision making. He's been great as a decision maker overall. The only one I think boneheaded that I can think of the top of my head is the overhead snap where he just tried to make a play in Arizona. But I was at the game. It was pouring rain. It was tough. And so that was really only freshman deal that I've seen. But just his ability to remain calm, it's been – I mean, I think that's been there the whole time, but just to be able to see it and I was at the Iowa State game. I was really very nervous when we went down early, and Bear, I'm his brother, I'm biased, but Bear, I think, was a huge reason for them to be able to come back and to be able to see that. I think if he can continue to do that and stay process-oriented, I think they'll have a shot to remain where they're at right now. So.
You brought up that you've been in some of these road games with Arizona and Iowa State. I got to ask, what's been your impressions of BYU fans, just the way that they show up? I know you've had experiences going up against BYU in the past and your experience with the coaching staff, but just your thoughts on Cougar Nation, of how they rally around this team, your brothers, and just this program. What's been your impressions of them?
Yeah, they're very first-class people. I just think like I said, the whole BYU ecosystem is very first-class and just very kind to my family, very kind to my brothers, and just I'm happy to be a part of it because everyone is so nice. The players' families are so nice, and they travel very well. Obviously the LDS religion is worldwide, so it's nice to see every game you go to that there's some blue in the stands.
And what do you think Bear has left to improve on? So he's obviously still a freshman. He's still growing in the game. What would you like to see Bear maybe improve on between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, I just think I think the ability every single day. Obviously, he's getting a lot of attention right now, and it's great, and it's great for the program. But personally, I think it's just all a bunch of rat poison for him. I think he doesn't need to focus on any of that stuff, social media stuff. The Pat McAfee shouted him out today, which I thought was pretty cool, and I just think that all that stuff's great, but I mean they'll keep the main thing, and that's ball, and I think like I said, having Tiger there and the support staff, and I think really too the faith-based environment at BYU, just keep them humble and understand that this game will eat you alive if you don't just focus on what you can control every single day. And I know I keep saying that, but that's what it comes down to, is just being very process oriented. The outcomes will take care of itself if you can focus on those, and just keep remaining poised and just keep playing. Like I said, I'm just really proud, big brother, and it's awesome to see how he's done this year. I honestly did not expect it to go as it has, and he's played well, but I think he can continue to throw the ball better and just keep gaming, and I think I'm just really proud, and like he's just got to stay consistent.
He's Hank Bachmeier, former college quarterback and older brother to Bear and Tiger Bachmeier. Hank, appreciate the time on this weekend. Again, glad to hear that the Halloween was a special one for you and your family. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Hopefully, are you going to be in Lubbock next week?
I'm trying to get out there, man. It's
tricky.
It's a tough flight. I think I'm flying into Hobbs, New Mexico, and I'm driving out, and I got to trying to figure out a rental car, hotel, all this deal. So, yeah, it's a tricky deal. But being a college football fan, Mike Leach, and just finished watching Landman.
Cool.
So West Texas has got. I definitely want to go see it. So I think it'll be a fun weekend from what I'm hearing, and maybe College Game Day will be out there from what I'm hearing. So it'll be a cool deal.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you hopping on, Hank, and hopefully we'll see you out there next week.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. You guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, that's Hank Bachmeier here on KSL News Radio. Great stuff there from Hank. Appreciate him for hopping on board on this weekend. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get to more BYU football talk here on Cougar Sports Saturday, and it's powered by KSL Sports.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done. With precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
No, it's not too soon to start holiday shopping. Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday event is happening now through November 22nd. Shop $10 beauty minis from brands like MAC and Too Faced. Take 30% off Lancome and Touchland fragrances and body mists. With new offers dropping every week, our associates can help you find the perfect gifts. Head into Ulta Beauty today to shop our early Black Friday event. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. In celebration of over 32 years of serving humans in Utah with their computer and tech needs, we've slashed our prices. And these are the new 2025 models. Here's the deal. You can get our new 2025 S1 desktop with a blazing Ryzen 5 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing fast storage on this promotion. We also have our new 2025 SM3 laptop with the Intel i5 processor, 16 gigs, and over a terabyte of storage for $999. You can take one home today for $999. And you also get the peace of mind of our lifetime service warranty. We also have 12 months special financing available, and they start as low as $29 a month. But hurry in because supplies are limited. Because at PC Laptops, we love you. PCLaptops.com. Take home a blazing fast 2025 model desktop or laptop for $999 at PCLaptops.com.
As the temperature sinks a little lower and the wind blows a little harder, next thing you know, the winter cold is going to be seeping in through your old drafty windows. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products for custom-crafted, state-of-the-art windows that'll seal up your house and cut your heating bill. Get on their schedule before winter, and not only do you get factory direct pricing far below what the big name companies charged, but Advanced will knock an extra $2,500 off your quote. They'll create beautiful double pane windows with insulated frames, any style, any color, and the security features to keep your family safe. You'll get a lifetime warranty from a local company in business here for 39 years. Financing? 60 months, 0%. Or even buy now, pay later. So make the call. Seal up the house for winter with $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack with you. Big thanks again to Hank Bachmeyer for joining the show. Good stuff from Hank, and he brought it up, Nate. Next week, BYU and Texas Tech, possibly College Game Day. Even Kirk Herbstreit today on ESPN. They were at Utah-Cincinnati when they were talking about the Texas Tech-Kansas State game, which is taking place today, kickoff at 1:30. Basically hinting that if Texas Tech wins, it sounds like College Game Day is going to Lubbock next week for BYU and Texas Tech. If that happens and College Game Day does show up to Lubbock, what does that add to that matchup, narrative, everything for BYU going into that game next week?
I mean, that's huge. Like, for one thing, I think it creates a margin for error. So if you lose that game, and it's on a big stage, it's a big game. It's going to be on ABC or ESPN. We'll see what.
Probably ABC if Tech wins, you would think. Because then you're talking maybe a Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit game to just make it easy for those guys to call that one. I don't know if they're contracted to call an SEC game, but it feels like it'd probably be a network TV spot.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And so I think that helps. I mean, when is the last time BYU got credited for having a quality loss? I can't think of a time BYU's ever had that. But I think it could help the guys feel maybe a little more relaxed in that sense. But they've played really well on big stages the last couple of years. And so I think, especially coming out of a bye week, hopefully they're a little more refreshed. Texas Tech, interestingly enough, is going to be in the same situation BYU was in last week, where they're playing on 6 consecutive games without a bye. BYU is going to be coming off of a bye. Granted, it's a home game for them, so maybe a little bit easier on the body just because you're not traveling. But I think BYU is going to come out guns a-blazing, and I don't think they really have a lot to lose. I mean, maybe when you look at the rankings aspect of it, but if you're not expecting, BYU is going to be an underdog. Like, we basically already know that. BYU is going to be probably a touchdown underdog.
Sign us up for that.
So BYU is going to be an underdog, and everybody's going to be expecting BYU to lose. And if they have, Patrick Mahomes there because the Chiefs are going to be on a bye, they'll probably have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes there, and it'll make a big scene. And I'm sure you'll have a ton of Texas Tech fans there throwing their tortillas because they can't during the game. But sign me up, man. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I cannot wait for that game. It's going to be such a good game. Regardless of what happens today for Texas Tech and Kansas State, obviously if Tech wins, it just ramps up the stakes to where it better be a top 10 game. It better be a top 10 game. The playoff committee better put these teams in the top 10. That's all I ask, because BYU and Tech, I think also, not only this year, but in the years to come, I think BYU and Texas Tech have the potential to be the best programs year after year in the Big 12. I really do. I think that the way that these programs are investing, Texas Tech is on a whole different level than even BYU. When you look at their facilities, their investment to football and their rosters, the money that they're throwing out. But also, too, BYU's highly invested, too. And we know that, and we're seeing growth in BYU sports. And I just think BYU football, I love how they're wired. I thought Hank Bachmeier had some great insight there to the advice that he would give Bear, but obviously pointing to what Kalani has said as well to the team, staying humble. And I'd like to think that last year's failures for the guys that are returning, paired up with the new guys, like Bear has seen his brother go through highs of highs, starting 7-0, and then being picked apart by media and by fans. This team should stay grounded. I like to think that's not going to get to their head this year. I'd like to think that last year's team, the guys that are returning, are like, we have accomplished nothing. This could change in a hurry, because you could see, I don't think it's possible. I should say it's not possible. I don't think it'll happen, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that you could lose the next 3. It could happen. So this season could change in a hurry, quick. You could go from 8-0 to 8-3, and you're like, oh, this is kind of a lackluster game to close out the season against UCF. So, got to stay grounded. I think this team will, and I think they're going to put their best foot forward, regardless of who's out there in personnel-wise against Texas Tech. And I think these two programs could be annual contenders on a regular basis in the Big 12 with the way that they're invested into their programs.
Not even just contenders, like maybe rivals. I mean, there's been a bit of chippiness between BYU and Texas Tech on the basketball court. You go back to 2023 with the spit thing with
Spitgate
with spitting in Tyler Batty's face, leading to an ejection. I mean, there's been some bad blood between these two teams, which is funny because before joining the Big 12 conference, BYU and Texas Tech had never played. Like, it had been
no history.
Yeah, none at all. So it's kind of crazy that this is all of a sudden, and maybe in 3 years, maybe turned into a little bit of a rivalry, but. Going forward, yeah, I mean, you mentioned the NIL piece. If you look at NIL and see what programs have benefited the most from it, I think BYU and Texas Tech are two of the schools towards the top of that list. So it's going to be super fun to see where those teams go on their trajectories, but I don't think there's any reason to believe that they can't be competitive in the Big 12 going forward.
A lot of Cougar fans are going to be watching that Texas Tech Kansas State game again that kicks off at 1:30, so listen to us. And maybe have that as a second screen, like watching that game while you listen to us here on the airwaves. But I think that's a massive game next week. Again, regardless of what Texas Tech ends up doing today, hopefully they win, so then it sets up College Game Day. Because the last time BYU had College Game Day, you got to go back to Coastal Carolina, 2020.
Yeah.
And College Game Day games have not been kind to BYU. 2004 Utah, 2009 TCU in Provo, 2020 Coastal Carolina. Those are all L's. So maybe that's not the recipe for success. But hey, I'm speaking it into existence that this is going to be this is a new look BYU. This is a new era. This is the Bear Force One. I should have brought that up to Hank.
We should have.
I should have brought that up. Bear Force One's a great name. Anyway, let's take a break. Hour number 2, a guy that knows a lot about ball on the hardwood, Fran Fraschilla, the voice of the Big 12, coming up next here on Cougar Sports Saturday.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. This is KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. 42 million Americans who need Uncle Sam's food aid program, SNAP, are now victims of the continuing federal government shutdown. SNAP benefits have been cut off. A federal judge ordering the Trump administration use emergency funds to restore the program. Kendra Davenport heads Easter Seals, which provides assistance to people living with disabilities.
Today, it's food and groceries they can't afford. Next week, if this lingers on, people make decisions to buy medicine or not medicine. Don't buy medicine. Take their medicine for a month or miss it so that they can swap that out and pay for food.
Some states are acting to cover SNAP benefits by finding money in their budgets. To end the shutdown, Democrats are demanding protection from expiring tax credits for those applying for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act. ABC's Alex Brachet.
The Congressional Budget Office projects that if these subsidies expire, 3.8 million people will drop their coverage annually and be uninsured over the next 8 years. I asked Vice President Vance about the 20 million Americans set to have their premiums skyrocket. He told me that they're very worried about this, but added that he believes Democrats aren't being responsible. And President Trump has railed against the ACA this week, saying that rates are going through the roof for really bad health care.
Republicans say they'll talk about health insurance issues, but only after Democrats agree to reopen the government first. Police are looking for suspected shooters in the Minneapolis area after they say one person was killed and 2 others injured overnight near the University of Minnesota campus. The deciding Game 7 of the World Series tonight in Toronto. The LA Dodgers aim to become the first team to win consecutive titles since the Yankees streak from 1998 to 2000. Toronto looks for its 3rd championship. Most Americans will set clocks back 1 hour before heading to bed tonight, gaining 1 hour of sleep as daylight saving time ends. You're listening to ABC News.
It's 102 at KSL News Radio. I'm Isabella Sosa. KSL's top local story this hour. Utah's measles cases continue to climb, with the most recent report coming up to 64 cases. The Utah Department of Health and Human Services says the latest case brings Utah County's count to 8. Measles is one of the most contagious diseases and often leads to a high fever, runny nose, and rash. Public health officials recommend if you think you've been exposed to measles to contact your doctor immediately. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Cleanup efforts are underway in the Caribbean in the wake of Hurricane Melissa. ABC's Ashan Singh has the latest.
About 13,000 people remain in shelters across the island. Meanwhile, power remains down for more than 460,000 Jamaicans, roughly 2/3 of the island, as workers race to restore service. Now the U.S. military is moving in. 8 helicopters, including 3 CH-47 Chinooks and 5 Black Hawks from Joint Task Force Bravo, are headed to Kingston. They'll carry food, water, and medical supplies, help evacuate the injured, and assist with any additional disaster relief.
Jamaica officials say they expect more casualties as they face the power outage. The FBI has thwarted what it calls a potential terrorist attack in Michigan during Halloween weekend. ABC's Olivia Rubin reports.
FBI Director Kash Patel saying on social media the alleged plot was, quote, tied to international terrorism, adding the suspects were allegedly plotting a violent attack over Halloween weekend. Sources now telling us that at least 2 individuals have been arrested, 3 more taken in for questioning, all of them between the ages of just 16 and 20.
An FBI spokesperson says there is no current threat to public safety. Coming up, clouds and no rain. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 104.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality. trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
No, it's not too soon to start holiday shopping. Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday event is happening now through November 22nd. Shop $10 beauty minis from brands like MAC and Too Faced. Take 30% off Lancome and Touchland fragrances and body mists. With new offers dropping every week, our associates can help you find the perfect gifts. Head into Ulta Beauty today to shop our early Black Friday event. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Whether you're north, south, east, or west, the roads are clear, so let's hope it stays that way. The high for today is 65 with a low of 40. Temperatures will inch up to the upper 60s in the next few days before dropping to the 50s on Thursday and Friday. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 61. I'm Isabella Sosa, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Hour number 2 is off and running here on Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack coming to you live here at Broadcast House in Salt Lake City. KSL News Time, 1:06 p.m. It's crossover season. Football and basketball intersect, and it's an exciting time because both football and men's basketball for BYU sports, top 10 in the AP Top 25 polls. The only athletic department that can boast top 10 teams in both football and men's basketball right now. These are good times, Cougar Nation. You're living large. To me, this is a golden era of BYU sports. And then you add on top of all this with the men's basketball team, the most anticipated season in program history. And there's so much excitement. There's so much buzz to the point where it's just, now it's time to actually go play the games. And Monday night, BYU tips off the season, the most anticipated season in program history, against the Villanova Wildcats. Tip-off between the Cougars and Wildcats is at 7:30 p.m. First meeting between BYU and Villanova coming up on Monday night since 1984. Cannot wait to see that one. And all the action can be heard right here on KSL News Radio. And throughout the season, you're going to see a lot of BYU on ESPN, and a guy that I believe is the voice of Big 12 basketball. He was in Kansas City at Big 12 Basketball Media Days, holding it down on the ESPN set, talking to these Big 12 teams, including BYU. He is Fran Fraschilla, and he joins us live here on Cougar Sports Saturday with Mitch Harper and Nate Slack. And Fran, hopefully you're having a great weekend. Cannot believe it's basketball season has arrived.
I can't wait, Mitch. It's excited about it, and doing a lot of preparation for the season. I will be watching the game on Monday night. And for Coug fans, I will be in Orlando celebrating Thanksgiving with BYU and probably a sizable number of the fan base.
Oh, that's fantastic. I will be down there as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. So do you already know your schedule for the year as far as BYU games you're going to call, or is that kind of still to be determined down the road in the heart of the Big 12 schedule?
TBA. We do it month by month. I've got a great early season schedule. I'll see Houston at Auburn. I'll see Arizona at Alabama, Kansas and UConn, BYU down in Orlando. So I've got the first month and a half so far, and I expect to be in Provo or at least see BYU 4 or 5 times during the regular season. A Big 12 play, that is.
It's going to be a really fun season, and it's not going to be easy. In the Big 12, you know this better than anyone. It is a gauntlet, but how do you feel the roster that Kevin Young has put together in year 2 stacks up in a Big 12 that might be as good as it's ever been?
Well, I know they got 2 NBA players, so we can start there. But seriously, I think the coaching staff's done a terrific job. Obviously, Richie Saunders coming back is a huge boost. Richie, I think, would have been an NBA player this year. Now I think he has a chance to really help his stock. You add Kata back, who's as physical a player, kind of like the Flory Badunga of BYU, a kid that can have an effect on the game inside. And then, of course, AJ, who I have seen quite a bit and love his game and love the fact that it's not just about, like my analogy with, AJ Devanza is if Kevin Garnett came back as a small forward, it would be AJ Devanza. The intensity, the defense, the will to win is there. And, honestly, not to make me long-winded, Mitch, but if AJ has to get 30 for you to win, he'll get 30. If you're up by 30, he's going to get 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. So I'm looking forward to him. And, of course, Rob Wright coming over from Baylor is a good start.
Yeah, the roster's loaded. BYU fans are really excited about it. There's obviously some high expectations for BYU. Do you think a Final Four is attainable, or is that something that's maybe not quite realistic yet? Or what do you see the ceiling being for BYU basketball this season?
Well, I'm not a gambler, Nate. I wouldn't go to Vegas and put odds on it. But, they got to the Sweet 16 last year, and this team is probably better, although that team had great chemistry by the end of the year, as you guys know well. So I think this chemistry lab is going to take, much like last year, where Coach Young and the staff and the players had to figure it out probably over the first November, December, and I'd even say January before things clicked. So I think the same thing is true this year. Can they get to a Final Four? Yes, they can. Are the odds of them getting there? Probably not, only in the sense that there's probably 10 teams like BYU that are all in the same boat. And I would say the same thing about every one of them, actually. So, but I would definitely be optimistic. Listen, this is a team that can go far in the tournament. And obviously, as you guys know, luck, injuries, things like that, team chemistry, all will play a part. But I do think if you're a BYU fan, you have to be ecstatic about the way things are shaping up as you come into this season.
How many teams from the Big 12 are on that boat, Fran? Do you think how many in the Big 12 could be Final Four potential good?
Well, I think there's definitely 6 as we start the year that are in the top 25. But I would say teams that I think are in the top 10. Let's start there. Big 12 teams in the top 10 right now would be Houston, Arizona, BYU. And Texas Tech, I think, is right there with them. So those 4 teams, I think, are all Final Four capable. And again, Tech was just a couple free throws away from getting to a Final Four last year. Houston got there. BYU, got deep in the tournament. So I think those 4 – and by the way, I think Arizona is a sleeper nationally. I think they're a top 10 team or top – I don't know where they're ranked right now, but I think they're better than the national pundits think. Because they've got a great point guard, a terrific group of freshmen, and then some size up front that's returning.
You kind of touched on it earlier about the just the connection and the camaraderie between BYU. Is that your biggest concern you would have for BYU going into this season, is just being able to be on the same page?
Well, I think, Nate, it's not because of anything, off the court. You know what I mean? Like, well, if these guys are going to like each other, how are they going to play together? I just think college basketball right now, the new normal is every coach really is a junior college coach. You know what I mean? Like every coach is recruiting guys for 1 year, maybe 2. Kevin Young's got great experience at this because he coached in the G League where you really have a new team every single season. And you're also losing guys and adding guys throughout the year. So I think Kevin is really the kind of guy and with the kind of experience that can put this all together. But when we say chemistry, this is common across college basketball, and I don't have any indication to think that they won't come together and play as a great team, but that takes time. It starts in June and July. Now we're in October, November, and then as we talked about, that the chemistry, I think, of BYU last year really didn't kick in until like midway through the Big 12.
Talk with Fran Fraschilla here on KSL News Radio, the man that I call the voice of the Big 12. You can hear him on ESPN. He does a fantastic job covering college basketball. The best voice, I think, too, on NBA draft, international prospects, and draft prospects in general. A lot of respect for you, Fran, the way you cover this sport. And I'm curious, too, since you know the game as well as anyone, why do you think Kevin Young has worked so well coming from the NBA to college basketball? Because it's not always a smooth transition for guys that are NBA lifers to then come to college and work. But Kevin Young has. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think Mitch, there's a number of reasons. Number one, he's coming in at the right time. He's coming in at an age where the NBA and college basketball, especially at the power conference level, have never been more similar, right? You know, salaries and things of that nature. NIL is kind of like a salary. I wish we had a salary cap, but we'll probably get to that in the next few years. I think the other thing is NBA coaches, you know, think about it. First of all, Kevin's been a head coach at the G League level, which is great basketball. It's a great learning lab, let's just say. I've got a son now in the NBA, assistant coach, who spent 6 years in the G League, and he tells me all about that. I think the other thing is he's got a great way with players because he's coached the best players in the world. And when you are part of an NBA season, especially a team that goes to the playoffs, as my great friend Gordy Chiesa has always explained to me, there's 100 games in a season, including the playoffs. There's 200 possessions in a game. You think of all of the basketball coaching that goes involved in that kind of experience, and throw in Kevin's decade-plus of NBA experience, and I think it was a natural fit. And he has BYU ties, and he's familiar with the state. He's familiar with the university. I think it was just a great fit, and I'm not at all surprised that it's gone very, very well so far.
Back to the Big 12 conference really fast, Fran. They were really public last year about the Big 12 being the best basketball conference in America, and the SEC kind of took that crown last year.
Yep.
With there being, in your opinion, 4 Big 12 teams that could be top 10 good this year, do you think this is the year that the Big 12 can kind of regain that title as being the best conference in America?
Well, it's possible, Nate, but let me give you some historical perspective. And this is easily explainable. The SEC last year, great league, man, 14 teams. It was the perfect storm in their history. Yeah. They've added some really good coaches, but also they had so many fifth-year COVID guys that ended up being All-Americans, you know. Walter Clayton Jr., Janai Broom at Auburn, Mark Sears at Alabama. The Big 12, according to Ken Palm, was the best league in the country in 9 of the previous 11 years. So why did it dip? Very easy. It was not a vintage year at Kansas. You guys have not yet seen the Kansas that we saw for 20 years, and maybe it comes back this year with Darren Peterson. I'm not so sure yet. The voters, the writers think they're the 5th or best team in the league. I think that's about right. And Baylor's been off primarily because they've lost so many players to the NBA. It's almost been, like an embarrassment of riches, and it's hurt them. I think Baylor's a year away from being back to being like a top 15 program. Kansas has had a great recruiting year for next year. I think they'll be great this year, at least very good because of Peterson. But you haven't seen the real Big 12 yet. And thank goodness that Houston, BYU, and Arizona have kind of, are keeping the status of the league at a high level, because when KU, and I throw Iowa State and Texas Tech in there as well, but when KU and Baylor come back on the scene, you will see, I think, what the SEC saw last year and what I've seen for really the better part of 2 decades.
He's Fran Fraschilla. You can check him out on ESPN throughout the college basketball season. We'll see you in Orlando around Thanksgiving, Fran, and appreciate the time on this Saturday afternoon. Thanks again.
Happy to do it, Mitch. We'll see you guys, and we'll see all those great Cougar fans in a couple weeks.
That's Fran Fraschilla here on KSL News Radio. Great breakdown of the Big 12 and BYU hoops from Fran Fraschilla. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get to more BYU basketball talk and check in on some scores around Big 12 football today here on Cougar Sports Saturday, and it's powered by KSL Sports.
Get set for fall entertaining with incredible deals at Scandinavian Designs. The Fall Entertaining Sale features huge savings on select furniture and decor for every space, from dining and living rooms to guest spaces ready for overnight stays. Refresh your home today and make it holiday ready just in time for the gathering season ahead. But only for a limited time. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple, you make it home. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions. Like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures. Until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Alpine Home Medical. We bring wellness home.
Hey folks, it's Jay Broadbent here with Alpine Home Medical, celebrating 28 years of keeping Utah and Idaho comfortable and at home. Back in '97, I started with a truck, a dream, and a lot more hair. Today, we've got 11 stores from Idaho Falls to St. George. From the moment you step into our clean, welcoming showrooms, you'll feel the Alpine difference. Our team will be there to listen and guide you to the best solutions for your needs. We believe that the right equipment can transform lives. We're honored to be a part of your healthcare journey and to help you live the life you deserve. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical. We bring wellness home.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
You're the fall cleanup phenom, the titan of trimming. You wield a leaf blower like a surgeon does a scalpel. When it comes to your lawn, power moves are the only moves you make. That's why you just applied IFA's Fall and Winter Lawn Food for stronger roots and an early green up next spring. IFA's Fall and Winter Lawn Food. It's the ultimate lawn owner power move.
Cougar Sports Saturday rolls on. Big thanks to Fran Fraschilla. Love hearing him talk Big 12 and BYU basketball. Mitch Harper, Nate Slack with you. Nate, it's hard to believe BYU basketball tips off the season on Monday night.
It's crazy. It's gone by so fast. It feels like just a couple weeks ago we were watching BYU play in the Sweet 16 against Alabama and just seeing Alabama bang 3 after 3 after 3. But it's super quick offseason.
And to that point, too, it in some respects, it feels like yesterday when AJ was on ESPN, AJ DiBonsa, saying he's committed to BYU. That was last December. And fast forward 11 months, and now the moment is here. We are going to see a BYU basketball team with the #1 recruit in the country. You're going to see a BYU basketball team with a returning first-team All-Big 12 performer in Richie Saunders. You're going to see one of the best point guards in the sport on this roster in Rob Wright. Keba Keita, who's a veteran, a leader of this team. what a roster. I mean, I think that, and I'm glad that Fran brought that national perspective, because sometimes I look at it from the lens of just BYU and I go, wow, there's nothing that holds them back. I still believe, though, from a personnel standpoint, that there's no one in the sport that just outclasses BYU. And I think that's what's so exciting going into a BYU basketball season, is that there's no one in college basketball where you say, how can BYU hang with them? Like, no, it's just a matter of, operating the way that you do things at a high level, you're going to have a chance. And I'm so excited to see how this season plays out. I'm kind of wondering when the adversity is going to hit for this team, because I'm sure there'll be stretches where, they might have a 2-game losing skid because the schedule's tough. 3-game skid. It could happen. But I think that this team has everything in front of them where they could truly, Nate, make a run and maybe be the first BYU team ever to reach the Final Four. Like, I think that's possible for this team. At least they're in the mix starting off a college basketball season, which I don't think you can honestly say going into any BYU basketball season before.
No, and it's because the roster is what you said. It's a different team that BYU has this year. Even looking back at last year, like last year's BYU basketball team was really good, but they didn't have the size and the length and the athleticism that this year's squad has. When I was at the North Carolina game last week with Kyle, we just were watching the team warm up on the court, and it's a different breed of guys. I mean, they were like 6'7", 6. Oh, I should have done that.
You did it.
I did it.
You did it.
But just the length and the athleticism that this team has. When you're seeing AJ throw down the dunks he did against North Carolina last week, and then what I think is going to be one of the biggest surprise, maybe not surprise players this year, but Hadim Mbop,
he's going to be good.
He's going to be awesome, and people aren't really talking about him because all the focus right now is on AJ and Richie and Rob Wright. But Mbop he's such a physical dude, and last week he was like just a relentless motor, and he's got great size. And I'll never forget the picture that was posted from the BYU social media account back in the summer. And he just looked like a ferocious animal, and I just thought, man, that's a dude that you love to have on your team, and you just hate to play against because of the physicality, and it's just I'm so excited to see this team play, and I'm excited to see this team play against good teams right out the bat, because last year's non-conference schedule was just kind of it was slow and it wasn't very entertaining, and then you finally play a good team in Providence, and then you get blown out of the gym, and so. It's going to be fun to see BYU line up against Villanova right away, and then you got, you play Clemson and UConn and Georgetown, and it's going to be an awesome non-conference slate, and I can't wait.
Boop had 7 points in 13 minutes, 3 of 3 from the field against North Carolina. I'm curious, you were there across the street for what's being dubbed the Bad Boy Mower series in Salt Lake City Clash. Again, it's the 3 games played in Salt Lake. It's a branded deal for BYU basketball this season. But what did you learn about that team last week at Carolina? And I ask you because I watched it on stream. I was in Ames watching it. I just feel like there's a different feeling when you're watching in person. What did you learn about that team last week in that matchup against Carolina?
One thing that just stood out to me is historically BYU's always been that team that's known as being a live by the die and die by the 3 team. And that's not the case this year. Like they did not shoot the 3 well at all.
5 of 25.
5 of 25, and it didn't matter. They still beat North Carolina. And I get it's an exhibition game. And even Kevin Young said in the post game, he said the Nebraska exhibition game didn't feel like a real game. This one felt more like a real game. So you're never really sure like what the ideas are going into it. How are they really playing to win? Or are they trying to kind of experiment with different lineups? But the North Carolina head coach in his post-game comments talked about the final play they ran and how they ran the very best play they had. They took their most athletic player. They got him to the hoop just like they wanted to, and he missed his shot. The coach said he missed his shot, but we know Kevin lined up and swatted that ball away. But it's a team that I think is going to be gritty. Back to Hadim Mbop, he's going to be diving all over the floor. You look back at the Houston team last year, and there was that viral video going around on social media of the Houston practice, and players are diving all over for loose balls and just being ferocious on the defensive end. And I think we're going to see a lot of that this year. There's been a lot of talk about BYU offensively and how they're going to be an elite offensive team, but I think the defense is being slept on quite a bit.
I agree. The defense is going to be much improved this year. And I think also, too, that DeBonsa, I thought Fran Fraschilla made a good point. If you need him to give you 30, he can get there. He got it done against Nebraska in the loss. But in other nights, if he only needs 12, he's more than enough content with that because he is a very willing passer as well. Against North Carolina, 18 points, 8 boards, only 1 assist, but 6 of 13 from the field. A highly efficient night from DeBonsa. I do want to see Richie Saunders get going. I thought in the 2 exhibition games, his shot was just a little bit off, 4 of 12 against Carolina.
About that?
I mean, I asked Kevin Young about that, and KY just chalked it up to 1 game. I think they're great shooters, but still, I want to see Richie knock it down at a high clip because he is far and away the best shooter on this team. We'll talk more BYU hoops here on the program today. It's Cougar Sports Saturday on KSL Sports.
Jim Weber is here from Foothill Oriental Rugs. And Jim, it's always exciting to have you here because then we know it's the semi-annual sale. First of all, you are one of the very few direct importers.
You hear that old cliche, we cut out the middleman, and what it enables me to do is I get better merchandise, more unique merchandise, even have a lot of things specifically made for me, and I can offer them at prices 25% below the industry average. So it's a win-win for me, and it's a win-win for my customers.
What have you got on sale for us?
A 9x12 Tibetan contemporary rug, retail price $95.04, on sale for $28.51. A 5x7 Pakistani silk rug, retail price $24.79, on sale for $9.85. If you've ever needed a rug, this is a great time to come in and look at rugs because our retail prices are better than the industry and average, and right now they're marked down up to 70% off.
Don't miss out. The semi-annual sale is underway now at Foothill Oriental Rugs, 1460 South Foothill Drive, just south of Foothill Village.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Guys, don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online, where Gage's skilled ring designers will work with her to create the perfect setting, matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com. We're engagement's middle name.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
My friends at the Western Nut Company, they make holiday gift giving an absolute breeze. Hi, this is Doug Wright, and from beautiful gift baskets and nut boxes to the famous in-house fudge, which is so delicious, and of course the brittles, they've got something for every taste bud. For corporate gift giving, what could be better or easier than going to the Western Nut Company? You can just send them your list, and they'll handle the rest. For nearly 60 years, the Western Nut Company has been a proud Utah tradition, celebrating the season with quality and care and community. And be sure to stop by the downtown store for not only unique gifts, but enjoy the decor, the ornaments, and the music box. The Western Nut Company. More than just the best nut gift boxes in Utah, they are a tradition. And you can also, of course, shop online at westernnut.com. westernut.com. Western Nut for the holidays.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack with you on this Saturday afternoon. BYU basketball will be back in action coming up on Monday night against Villanova. Tip-off at 7:30, pregame at 6:30. So that means no Cougar Tracks on Monday night. There will be a podcast from Vegas on Monday, so be on the lookout for that, but no show over the air on KSL News Radio. But every night, 6:30 p.m., you can listen to Cougar Tracks. Get your daily BYU fix here on the legacy home of the Cougars. Next week, though, BYU football is back in action after a bye, and they're going to be taking on the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who are one of the top teams in college football. And, Nate, we talked about it already, how there could be college game day, but what we do know is there's going to be a special game element to this. Royal helmets with a new logo. The Sailor Coug decal is going on the helmets. Are you a fan of BYU's new lid for next week's game against Texas Tech?
I'm a fan of mixing it up. I'm not a huge fan of the logo, just because we've used that logo already for a couple games. So just the one game, right? It was just the one game against SMU in the bowl game.
Yes, that's
they
right.
used that logo. If they were to put like the Y with the Cougar over the top and throw that on a helmet, I'm all in. But to do the Sailor Coug logo, I'm not like, it's going to be cool, but I'm not going crazy over it. That makes sense.
How about this, though? Are you excited to see BYU wearing their home blue uniforms on a road game that isn't Utah? Don't see that very often.
No, I can't think of the last time BYU had that.
I was looking at that. So, and I know there's a lot of caveats to that because you could just say Utah last year. But if you exclude the Utah games, you exclude bowl games, I don't recall a blue jersey wearing game. That's because Texas Tech is going to roll out its all-white uniforms that are inspired by Patrick Mahomes. So it's a big game. These programs are rolling out special uniforms. It's going to be an event. I will say on the Sailor Coug helmet, I'm with you. I'm okay with trying new stuff and kind of throwing new wrinkles into the mix, but I don't know. It doesn't hit to me the same as the Stretch Y, that Sailor Coug. I like it. I'm okay with it. I think it's a good logo. What I will say, I want to one day see BYU roll out the BYU with the Cougar on the top logo, or the logo that you're wearing on your hat right now, which is a block Y with the Cougar on the top. That's what I want to see on a helmet one day for BYU.
Yeah, the block Y with the Cougar on the top is probably my favorite logo. The full BYU with the Cougar on the top, not the one from the 2000s.
No.
Not that one. We're
not
talking
that
about the one from the 80s.
massacre. No.
It's a cool logo. I think the full BYU might be a little bit too busy on the helmet, but
How
sign
about
me up
this?
for it.
How about this? If you want to go Sailor Coug, an oversized Sailor Coug logo. That was kind of the thing in like 2015. Maybe that's past its time, the oversized logo, but how about an oversized Sailor Coug that just takes up the entire helmet?
Sign me up for that. I always think back to like the Boise State teams. I feel like Boise State always had the oversized logo. But if you're going to do that, and maybe I would have liked the Sailor Coug more on the Texas Tech game helmet if it was the old school Sailor Coug, where it's not as like crisp and rounded. It's a little more jagged. You got the little points and the whiskers coming off. I'd be okay with that. I think it would look cooler, but I'd be down for a full-sized logo on a helmet.
I will say this. This brings up an interesting thought. I do love that BYU rolls out different looks every week. It's fun because they have a foundation of colors and uniform combinations, and you can do all these little small tweaks to where at season's end, you have 12 different uniform combinations every single year. This is, I believe, I know it's the second consecutive year they've definitely done this, where they've had 12. Pretty much since 2020, it's been BYU has 12 different looks every single week. As time has gone by, and this has become a common deal where BYU is wearing a different look every single week, do you still like that, or are you leaning that you want to go back to more of the traditional looks where white helmet, white jersey, royal blue pants? Do you want to get more of that? Because I will say, you go through a course of a season and we realize we don't see many of the traditional looks anymore for BYU.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I mean, one uniform combo I really miss that I didn't think I would miss is if you look back at the 2013 Texas game and you look at the 2019 USC game and that white helmet with the navy jersey and the white pants.
You want that back?
It's a crisp look, Mitch. You can't just drop that. It's gone. We haven't worn that. BYU has not worn that in 2025 or 2024. You got to go back to 2023, the last time they wore that combo.
I like the navy, and I like the look that they had against Portland State. I like that navy blue look. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the white helmet with the navy blue logo. I like the navy blue lid with the stretch Y and a white face mask or navy blue face mask. That's what I'm on board with. But, you know, I like that they have a bunch of different options. I guess I'm a fanboy of the royal blue. I love BYU's royal blue, but I just sometimes miss that traditional iconic look, you know. But at the same time, I do like that BYU's equipment staff throws in these new wrinkles because it was a long time where we never saw this sort of stuff, and we never saw different. I was looking over the course of the Kalani era since 2016. They've had, if you include all the face mask changes, all these different looks, there's been more than 20 different helmet combos that BYU has worn since Kalani became the head coach. You think back to pre-2016, granted, it wasn't always common in college football to always change it up. This is kind of a, 15-year thing where it's really changed the game. Oregon, I know, has been doing it for the last 20-plus years. But it wasn't always common practice to just change up your helmet, your uniform every single week. But so it has been cool to see all these different helmet looks in the BYU uniform identity. And we'll see a new one next week when they take on Texas Tech next week. And you're just kind of overarching thoughts of the matchup and how BYU stacks up against a Tech team that should have Baron Moore, and he's going to play today. He's the starting quarterback for Texas Tech. Their backup, Will Hammond, he's out for the year with an injury. He was the one, remember, that shined against Utah as the backup. But just your thoughts on the matchup of how BYU stacks up against a really good Red Raider squad.
You know, I like the matchup quite a bit, I think. And it's mainly because BYU is going to be coming off of a bye. And I know historically BYU's not done great after bye weeks. You think back to 2023, they come out against TCU and get beat pretty handily. Last year they have a bye and then play Utah, and they kind of sleepwalk through the first two quarters.
Kind of slow start against East Carolina even too this year.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't until Schmev, Evan Johnson's pick six, that really broke things open for BYU.
Yeah, and I think the difference is for this one, the sense of urgency. I think the guys remember last year about that, the final three games, and they go 1-2, and if they had just gone 2-1, they're playing in the Big 12 championship and possibly even getting that large if they don't win the conference championship. So I think the sense of urgency is going to be there, and I think they maybe smell a little bit of blood on the water because they experienced what Texas Tech is going to be experiencing next week. They experienced that same thing last week of playing 6 consecutive games in a row and then having a game where Kalani said it's kind of an all-in game. You got to empty the tank. So I think Texas Tech's going to be having to do that against BYU. But I think BYU is going to come in with that mentality of, we know what these guys are feeling. We know they're banged up, they're sore. Darren Morton hasn't been playing as much as he did last year because he's been banged up, and so that's why Will Hammond had to come in and do what he did. And so I think they see an opportunity to play a really good team that is a little banged up and tired and sore, and they're looking a little bit past BYU to that bye week. Don't get me wrong, they're going to be ready for BYU. They're going to be all in, but I think BYU knows that they need that bye week, and this is an opportunity for them to pounce and take advantage of it.
Some numbers on Texas Tech. They're the number one scoring offense in the Big 12 at 43.6 points per game. They're also the number one defense in points allowed. Texas Tech's only allowing 12.4 points per game. Now, that also includes non-conference, and Texas Tech played a weak non-conference schedule, but this has been a really dominant team pretty much all year. Their one loss was against Arizona State on the road when Arizona State had Sam Leavitt. That was a 26-22 loss, and they stormed back, almost nearly pulled off that game when they were down big. But Texas Tech, I think if they get by K-State today, it's currently tied up at 0. Early minutes of that game in Manhattan with about 12:30 to go in the first quarter. Then they've got BYU. They got UCF and at West Virginia. I feel like their season is defined today and next Saturday for the Red Raiders. And if they win these two games, they're probably going to definitely be in Arlington and most likely be a playoff team as well. So this is a huge stretch for a Red Raider program that's not used to this spot, where BYU, as weird as it sounds to say, only year 3 in the Big 12, they're used to having the big spotlight, undefeated season, high expectations on them, where Texas Tech, this is all new to them. They've historically always been a 7-5, 8-4 program. They've had high expectations going into seasons. 2 years ago, lofty expectations. They didn't come anywhere close to that. So that's a new dynamic for this Tech team, but I will say they are super talented. I think it's the most talented football team that BYU will face this season in Texas Tech. So it is going to be a challenge, but I like the fact that BYU has had extra time to prepare for this one. And I'd like to think that some of those specials that BYU has not had much success with this year offensively, maybe they can work this go-round against a Tech team with extra time to prepare and get those locked in for this one against a really good Red Raider squad. Next week's game is going to kick off at 10 a.m. We will have extended pregame coverage beginning at 7 a.m. between the Cougs and the Red Raiders from Lubbock next week. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get to a Big 12 scoreboard check-in. We'll check in on that Texas Tech game. Also, a big upset in the Big 12 that shakes up the championship race. We'll hit on that next here on Cougar Sports Saturday.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Imagine struggling with a slow, outdated computer that takes forever to load anything, that randomly freezes up and is filled with viruses and malware.
Now picture yourself with a powerful desktop or laptop that runs smoothly and efficiently, making your work and entertainment seamless. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Cougar Sports Saturday on this college football Saturday. No BYU action today, but that doesn't mean college football's slowing down. We've got a busy, loaded day in the Big 12 Conference, and I teased it earlier. There was a game that plays a big role in the Big 12 championship race. West Virginia, you're thinking, what? That team that BYU comfortably beat in Provo? West Virginia beats Houston 45-35 at Houston. Coming into today, Nate, Houston was 7-1 overall, 4-1 in the Big 12. They look to have the easiest strength of schedule remaining in the month of November. They take an L, second loss in Big 12 play, opens the door for some other teams to get in the mix for Arlington. It's a big win for West Virginia, but an even bigger loss for Houston.
Yeah, it wasn't even that close. It was a 45-35 game. West Virginia kneeled it out inside the red zone, so they could have put up another 3 or 7 points, but yeah, it's tough for Houston. I thought they'd be better from last year, and they have been, but man, you can't drop that kind of game, especially in November.
I thought West Virginia was just down and out. I thought they were going to kind of fade into obscurity the remainder of the year, be 2-10 and not be competitive, but they had a different quarterback than the one BYU faced, a guy named Scotty Fox Jr. He led them and had a pretty good day for the Mountaineers. They got 45 points, Rich Rod gets a big win on the road, and that's the team that was ranked in the top 25. They'll probably now jump out of the rankings. And again, like, at what point, if you're Brett Yormark in the Big 12 offices, do you say, okay, underdogs, stop winning? We need these top teams to just hold serve and give the most teams possible in the playoff to help the strength of this conference in the playoff rankings. Look, it could sound conspiracy mode by us, but it's just we've seen this song and dance. Last year, the Big 12 as a power league almost got treated like the Mountain West. So there is not a margin for error for this conference. Even though we feel like it's a pretty good league, it still feels like there's a lot to prove, and the margins are thin for this league. Another game that went final this morning, Baylor takes down UCF comfortably, 30-3. I think that was kind of a big win for Dave Aranda, because they had a 4-4 record going into that one, and you're thinking, if you lose this game, you are in trouble. But their defense actually showed up, so that was a big win for Baylor. Other games in action, Iowa State at home against Arizona State. Arizona State's star quarterback, Sam Leavitt, who is not a fan of BYU, and BYU fans probably not a fan of him, Nate, to put it lightly. Even without Leavitt, ASU is in Ames, beating Iowa State in the fourth quarter, 24-19, 12-11 to go in the fourth. I'm kind of surprised by that.
If that's a 4-game losing streak for Iowa State, that's such a bummer for BYU. We were talking about it during the break, but if Iowa State loses this one, and BYU's marquee win on the road so far is at Iowa State, and they're a 5-4 team. Yeah. It's like you look at the other game today going on, it's going to be between Arizona and Colorado, so those are both on the road. But again, Arizona is a 4-3 team, Colorado's 3-5, and so heading into the first college football playoff ranking reveal on Tuesday, they're going to pop up that BYU logo on the TV and say, why is BYU at number 12? And then the committee president's going to be, well, you see, they had this win at Iowa State, and Iowa State's 5-4.
Look, it sounds like we are so skeptical and jaded, but we are. Because we have seen this song and dance too many times with BYU over the years. We're kind of in the mode where we will believe it when we see it. I would like to think, with the audit that took place, with how the committee ranks teams that Brett Yormark was involved in, hopefully that changes some stuff. Also, the director of the playoff this year is a Big 12 AD, Mac Rhodes from Baylor. Does that help the cause at all? You can't just go biases and rank teams because, hey, they're in my conference. Still, though, you'd like to think that maybe the Big 12 gets a little more respect, because the great thing about this league is that really anyone can win. And there's something to be said about that, where you got 16 programs, 15, because Oklahoma State's terrible. 15 this year where they're highly invested and they got some good individual talent, and anyone can win on any given week. Other games, you brought up the Arizona-Colorado game. That kicks off at 5 p.m. on FS1. 2 p.m., Oklahoma State and Kansas coming up at the top of the hour on ESPN+. And right now in Manhattan, 7:39 to go in the first quarter, Kansas State up 7-0 on number 13 Texas Tech. So College game day hangs in the balance, Red Raiders. Wreck them. Come on. Get this thing going so we get a top 10 showdown in Lubbock. And then the nightcap, 8:15 p.m. Utah takes on Cincinnati, a top 25 showdown. College game day was up on the hill in Salt Lake, just up the street from us. How do you see that game playing out between Cincy and Utah?
That's going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch it. I've got to figure out a way to watch it because I have YouTube TV, and so I can't watch it on ESPN.
You're in that boat.
I'm in that boat, so I've got to figure out how I'm going to watch it. But I am looking forward to it. I think Utah is a good team, and I think Cincinnati's a good team. They have that one loss that came in week 0 against Nebraska, and coincidentally, that loss came because Sorsby, Cincinnati's quarterback, threw his lone interception on the entire season and a potential game-winning drive at the end of that game. So if he hadn't thrown that interception, they possibly win that game, and then he's also 20 touchdown passes to 0 interceptions, but he's got that one. I think Cincinnati's got a chance. I was looking at some chart this week. I don't know if it was from PFF, but saying that Cincinnati was, I think it was PFF. They're the top-rated offense on the road in the entire country.
And they've only given up, I believe, 3 sacks this year. They've been pretty good at keeping Brandon Sorsby upright. He's their star quarterback. I will say this, though. For the Cougar fans that are wondering who should they root for in this game, Cincinnati, who's also undefeated in Big 12 play like BYU or Utah. Here's what you always do. You just go against Utah. You just keep it simple. Hey, BYU controls its own destiny. You got a chance to play Cincinnati. You take care of your business against Cincy and give them an L down the road. But if you're really wanting to get down to it, get down to brass tacks, keep it easy for you, Cougar fans. Just cheer against Utah. I mean, don't go through these mental hurdles like going back to the Sugar Bowl in 2008. Oh, it'd be good for the Mountain West to see Utah beat Bama. Yeah, that didn't really work out in realignment for you.
Even last year.
I'm just saying, lessons can be learned.
Last year, people are cheering for Utah to knock off Iowa State, and Iowa State pulls it out, and people are sad because Iowa State won, and they're also sad because they were cheering for Utah.
It's like, folks, at the end of the day, yes, BYU missed the Big 12 title, but Utah also didn't go to a bowl. So there's a win-win there. There you go. I will say it was kind of funny when Utah fans were bringing up BYU at game day this morning. I'm thinking
immediately, right away.
Guys, it doesn't hit the same way when you have a 3-game skid. You know, like I'm just
and
saying.
Fresh off it was 2 weeks ago.
I'm just saying. Let's take a break. More Cougar Sports Saturday coming up next.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. For millions of Americans who need Uncle Sam's food aid program, SNAP, they are now victims of the continuing federal government shutdown. Those benefits have been cut off due to the shutdown. A federal judge ordering the Trump administration to use emergency funds to restore it.
Republicans and Democrats, either they could come together, but right now that seems very unlikely. But in Rhode Island, a federal judge said the Trump administration must distribute aid from emergency reserves. Now, Trump said yesterday that his administration's lawyers, they're not sure if they have the legal authority to pay for SNAP during the government shutdown and asked for clarity from the courts.
Some states are acting to cover SNAP benefits by finding money in their budgets. To end the shutdown, Democrats demanding protection from expiring tax credits for those applying for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act. ABC's Alex Perche.
There were many people living in this home. In fact, 11 people now being assisted by the Red Cross as they have been displaced. But again, 5 people killed in this house fire late last night, the cause of which remains under investigation.
ABC's Marcus Solis in Patterson, New Jersey, at the scene of a fatal house fire. And of the 5 people killed, 3 of them were children. Police are looking for suspected shooters in the Minneapolis area after they say 1 person was killed and 2 others injured overnight near the University of Minnesota campus in the Dingytown section. The deciding Game 7 of the World Series is tonight in Toronto. The LA Dodgers aim to become the first team to win consecutive titles since the Yankees' streak from 1998 to 2000. Toronto looks for its 3rd overall championship. Most Americans will set clocks back 1 hour before heading to bed tonight, gaining 1 hour of sleep. Daylight saving time comes to an end. You're listening to ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next,
And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The other day, I'm over at a friend's place. He's pumped to watch football, but his setup, total mess. Lagging, buffering, and switching between apps trying to find the game. He claimed he was a big fan, but I felt like I was fan-fished. See, if you call yourself a football fan, you gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. And the way I watch? Next level. It's the perfect fan flex. I have all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So clear, it feels like I'm in the stadium. Sometimes I've got 4 games going at once because why not? On top of all that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multiview requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Hour number 3 here on Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack with you. KSL News Time, 2:05 p.m. here from Broadcast House in Salt Lake City. Hopefully all of you had a happy and safe Halloween last night. Favorite candy, Nate? Don't do it. Don't tell me. I think I know what you might say. Now you got this big grin. Don't say it, Nate.
I'm not going to say it. Actually, I am going to say it. I'm going to give it an honorable mention, candy corn.
He's this guy. Tito, are you candy corn guy? Okay, absolutely not, Tito said.
Candy corn gets left on. And it's a reason it's a Halloween staple. People see it. It's recognizable. It's in the hearts of everybody. Embrace it. The waxy flavor. Oh, it's fantastic.
Are you into the candy corns, like just the traditional flavor? But there's now other.
They have like spin-offs. They have like the caramel apple candy corn. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the chocolate one. Just give me the straight up orange, yellow, white candy corn.
We just got word here into the studio that intern Jasmine is also a fan of candy corn, so she's on board with you,
Let's
Nate.
go. It's good to not be alone.
Okay.
I appreciate that, Jasmine.
I'm anti candy corn, but I will say this: I do like. I'm Kit Kat guy.
Kit Kats are good.
But I'm also here's my downfall though with the Kit Kat. I don't break them off. I just even if it's like the 4-pack, like I'm just eating it off. Like I'm not breaking them off. I'm just like I'm that heathen. Just
what's wrong with you?
See that's where my downfall is. Your downfall is the candy corn.
I like candy corn. It's not my favorite.
What is your favorite candy?
I like the fruity stuff. So if you give me like Skittles or Starburst or gummy worms, that's my favorite. If I had to go chocolate, probably $100,000. Here's my favorite.
Here's one that always has mixed reviews, but I kind of like it. Almond Joy.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Like the fake, the artificial coconut, like kind of gets stuck in your teeth.
Like I can kind of get down with it, but how about the traditionals, the Snickers, the Milky Ways? You on board with those?
I like those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reese's.
Yeah. As long as it's not straight up chocolate, like a Hershey's bar, no thanks.
That's a good take right there. Just straight up chocolate, like I can do without that too. Three Musketeers, that one's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yep. The sizing up the candy, I will say my daughter, she was K-pop Demon Hunters, not intern Jasmine's uncle. It was just K-pop Demon Hunters, the Netflix, the group. Got to be golden. Got it. I'm your soda pop.
That's so catchy.
Look, I find
songs
myself
are fantastic.
I find myself listening, so I'm not like I enjoy K-pop Demon Hunters. I bring up K-pop because that's K-pop Kelly Pink. Anyway, she got a bag last night of candy, and in that bag she got a Top Ramen cup. ramen noodles.
Okay.
Never seen that before.
Yeah. All right.
I was like,
what do you guys give out of the Harper House?
We're giving away the traditional, the OG candies,
Nice.
the traditional. Sometimes we will I'll pull out some candy bars for the Cougar fans. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I see a good BYU costume.
I'll be right back.
Here you go. Here's your Snickers, young man. Yeah. Like, I appreciate your efforts and I will say this too. In Murray, at my kid's Halloween parade yesterday, I was stunned as a kid that grew up, and I didn't feel like there were many BYU fans around me growing up. I grew up in West Valley City. I've always kind of lived in the Salt Lake area my whole life, and it's always been kind of pro Utah in Salt Lake to me. There were a lot of kids coming out of the woodworks wearing BYU costumes at my kid's Halloween parade. My second son, he was dressed as Ryder Lyons. He's already skipping the whole Bear Bachmeier. He's already going to Ryder. He had a Ryder custom-made jersey. The King of Aura had the beanie and all that. He likes Ryder because of social media and the aura there. He loves Bear too. But there were a lot of BYU kids. I was pleasantly surprised because typically I feel like it's more Utah. Did see a good handful of Utah fans as well dressed up in Utah costumes, but a lot of BYU fans. So Coug fans are coming out of the woodworks. And, hey, I think there's going to be more fans jumping on board this hype train of BYU sports with BYU basketball. And how could you not when you have the #1 basketball recruit in the country, potentially the #1 NBA draft pick on this year's team? That's A.J. DeBonson. I caught up with A.J. recently at Big 12 Basketball Media Days. Here's my chat with the heralded sensational freshman, A.J. DeBonson.
A.J., fun question for you here, Big 12 Media Day. Saw Lethal Shooter here. Didn't you do a video with Lethal Shooter? You guys collab with Red Bull?
Yeah, like a couple months ago, me and Red Bull collab. He came over to BYU. We had like a little workout.
Now, do you understand what with him? What did he teach you?
He taught me a lot of shooting habits, like the bad things I was bad on my shot, so kind of fixed the fluidity with it, and I'm getting better.
How? What do you think of this now that it's here? I mean, we were just talking moments ago, just seeing you at Utah Prep, going through the process. You've been a high-profile guy for years now, but now to be here in college basketball and time's here.
I mean, it's good. It's great, actually. Like, just getting the college feel, getting college workouts, getting college coaching is just overall way better, obviously, because it's at a higher level.
What were your thoughts on the first game, exhibition? Probably didn't want the outcome that way, but 30 points in your first college game.
Yeah, it was good. It was good and bad. Obviously, you can learn a lot from losses, so that was a good part. And as an exhibition, so it doesn't count. Losses really hurt us, but it was good. Just get a feel for our away game, get a feel for how the student sections are going to interact with y'all.
Going into this season, how do you stay focused on this year at hand? Because I know you've been consistent all along. You want to take this program to new heights that they've never reached. But how do you tune out like the NBA distractions, because that's going to be always a talking point with you?
Obviously that's my ultimate goal. So if I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to get there. So I just try to do as much as I can to help the team win now.
How does KY prepare you think for the NBA? I know you haven't been there yet, but just the feedback you hear from NBA personnel, like what is it about KY that he does that gets you NBA ready?
I think it's just the play style. That's obviously one of the reasons why I came here. He runs an NBA type offense, NBA type defense. And he just knows that he coached some of my favorite players all the time, so he knows exactly what to do with guys of my caliber.
How fun has it been to play with Rob Wright? And Rob told me a few weeks back that you guys have a pretty good connection, but how would you describe it?
Nah, it's crazy. Like he probably the best point guard I ever played with. Like he knows exactly where to place the ball, where to throw the ball. I don't know how he does it. Got insane vision, but yeah, it's been fun so far. It's gonna be a great season.
What makes him so good in the paint, you think?
I think his ability to get in the paint is actually very special. Like he's actually super fast, so I gotta guard him in practice sometimes. I can't stay in front of him because he's so fast. He gets in the paint every single time. And obviously, he's one of the better playmakers in the country. So when he gets in the paint, it's kind of just a done deal. He can spray left, he can spray right, throw the lob, or he can finish himself with a floater.
Are there guys on this team that we're sleeping on the media about this team? Because we talk about you, Richie, Rob, but guys that are going to make a name for themselves on this team.
Obviously the whole team. So I don't want to even single anybody out. But obviously the whole team. But if you really want me to single somebody out, I think a lot of people that should know about, Moot Davis. Obviously coming in like defensive dog. He guard me every day in practice. I'd be having trouble sometimes. But we have other guys like Kadeem Boop, and crazy energy. You've seen it against the Nebraska game. Kaba, Xavier, Dom, Tyler, everybody. Nate Pickens, like the whole team, really. So I don't even want to single nobody out.
Speaking of crazy energy, what did you think of the BYU football game against Utah being there in the end zone? You guys make the trip after the Nebraska game, but your thoughts on the energy at that stadium?
It was crazy. That was my first Holy War, so definitely just wanted to get that down. Because I don't, you know, we might not go to Utah, so the one at BYU was just a must. I have to go to. I go to the Rock, try to get it jumping in the Rock.
And you met Ryder Lyons. Was that your first time meeting him?
Yeah, it was my first time meeting him. Yeah.
You guys are like the Aura Kings at BYU. I mean, you guys got all the clout.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun hanging with him. Obviously, he had like a little documentary going on, but it was fun just him being a recruit, having to go to their game. Same thing with me when I was a recruit going to BYU's basketball games. I understood it.
Last couple things here for you, AJ. Just how do you feel like you've evolved since April as a player here at BYU?
I got stronger. I'm up to like 215 now. My three-point shot improved. I think my paint decisions are getting better. I think I'm just a better overall basketball player.
And then last thing, just your thoughts on navigating the Big 12. This league's talked about as being a physical league. How ready are you for that challenge this season?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's definitely going to be physical. It's definitely going to be a challenge, obviously seeing it from last year, but I'm ready to adjust.
And that's BYU star freshman A.J. DeBonsa, a preseason AP All-American. It's good to catch up with A.J. And then also, moments after talk with A.J., spoke with BYU first-team All-Big 12 selection Richie Saunders. This is my chat with Richie.
Richie, how do you think this team's come together in training camp as you guys get ready for the season?
I mean, just where we are today from where we were 5 months ago is incredible. Clearly, a lot more to grow, and that'll come, which is just part of a new team, and it's fun. It's a fun new group, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited for what's all the growth that's going to come.
Stylistically, what's going to be different about this team, you think?
I mean, we're so focused on defense, you know, and that's like one of the things that I felt like I expressed to coaches, like I want to be part of a defensive team, and you know, like it's been clear that that's been the focus in so much of our stuff, and I mean, we are grateful again for our first little crack at seeing stuff playing against other people, and it's just part of the process, and we'll just moving forward. It's just exciting to keep growing in that, like what I already said, but with defense specifically.
Do you think leaning in more defensively, do you think that could sacrifice a little bit on the offensive end? Like, how do you see that kind of playing out potentially?
No, I mean, I don't think at all. I mean, we have so much talent, especially offensively. And so, you know, if we're defensive minded and focused, good defense fuels good offense. And I 100% believe that.
What do you think of the heightened expectations in this program? I mean, you've seen it every step of the way here in the Big 12. 2 years ago, you guys people thought you can't win a game. Now you guys are right there viewed as a team that can contend with Houston. What do you think of those expectations?
I love it. Bring it on. You know, I want to be a part of winning, and I want to win big. So I'm just excited.
And also your thoughts on the non-conference schedule, all the challenges you guys are going to have.
I mean, it's exciting. We got to figure it out early. We can't wait till going down 1-3 in conference. You know, and that's what we're all about, is figuring it out early.
What are we going to figure out about you that's different this season, your senior year?
Yeah, I want to be notably a much better defender. It's one of the reasons why I came back, is I want to be so much better on-ball defender.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I feel like a few years ago, like that was kind of like the calling card for you, like a relentless defender, but you feel like there's more to be had on that end for you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I really want to just help lead a good defensive program.
How much are you enjoying the guys that are here in KC with you? AJ, Rob, what have they brought in your relationship with them?
No, it's been awesome. I mean, we have to figure it out together on the court and off the court, but they're just good guys, and really excited that they're here and just part of the program, and excited to do this with them specifically.
Last thing for you, Richie, what's different about KY in year two?
I mean, he knows a little bit more what he's doing from a college standpoint. It's clear that, like, you know, it's such an adjustment coming from the NBA, and this year he strictly knows what he's doing, like knows what he wants specifically, and it's been really good. Everything is so specific about what we're working on, what we're doing in practice. Everything is so specific.
I know I said the last thing, but I one more. First team All Big 12 last year, now preseason All Big 12. Going to be a bigger target on your back going into this year?
I'm ready. Let's roll. I've had a really good summer, a lot of work, and excited just to go win games.
And that's BYU senior Richie Saunders gearing up for another big year. First team All Big 12 preseason selection entering this season. And I believe one of the best shooters in college basketball this year. Let's take a break. On the other side, you'll hear from BYU head coach Kevin Young. At the bottom of the hour, BYU Sports Network analyst Mark Durant, right here on KSL News Radio.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. Because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
No, it's not too soon to start holiday shopping. Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday event is happening now through November 22nd. Shop $10 beauty minis from brands like MAC and Too Faced. Take 30% off Lancome and Touchland fragrances and body mists. With new offers dropping every week, our associates can help you find the perfect gifts. Head into Ulta Beauty today to shop our early Black Friday event. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
Utah Mammoth Hockey is back at Delta Center. Don't miss your chance to be part of the excitement as the Mammoth hit the ice all season long. Grab your friends, rally the family, and lock in your seats for the fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Great seats are available for most games, but they're selling fast. Head to UtahMammoth.com to get your tickets today. That's UtahMammoth.com. Your home for all things Mammoth Hockey.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. BYU basketball is back in action on Monday night. It's year 2 for head coach Kevin Young. And I caught up with Coach Young in Kansas City at Big 12 Media Days, and this is my chat with KY year 2 with the Cougars.
Coach, how are you guys embracing, I know last year expectations, you didn't really worry about that, but now heightened expectations, pick 2 is second in the Big 12 preseason poll. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, I just think it's a testament to what some of our guys who are coming back from last year did, along with the guys we added. So I'm happy that they got recognized, but at the same time, it doesn't mean a thing. And we've talked about that with the guys. I mean, our recipe is the same as it was last year in terms of how we go about our work. Now, the team's different. Some of the schemes are a little bit different, but in terms of just showing up every day and trying to get better each and every day, that's something that this team has really dug and sunk their teeth into.
How is this team going to change defensively compared to last season?
Well, number one, we just have a lot more guys that can guard one-on-one. I think we'll be able to just keep our man in front of us a little bit more than we did last year, probably have to help a little bit less. And so we're still learning. I'm still learning what that means just for some of the schemes that we like to implement and being able to adjust given the type of defenders that we have across the board. I think we're a little bit longer. Obviously the foot speed's a little bit better. So I think that's probably where it rears its head the most, but still trying to figure out how that exists within our schemes.
You've got a deep roster once again. Is it safe to assume with the top end talent, maybe not going to go 11-man rotation this year? Would you expect?
I didn't expect to do that last year, so I would have said no then. I'll say no now. We'll see. I think it's a lot of things can impact that. Health being probably the number one thing. But yeah, we do have, I think, some pretty high end, like top end guys that it's going to be hard to get off the floor probably. But we're still working through all that. That's what was that in a weird way. That first exhibition game, it was good. We had 4 guys out, so we could look at some other guys and learn about them. Hoping to have a little bit more bill of health for this next exhibition game where we can continue to learn about our group. But that's something that it's not you can't get that right overnight. We got to see stuff in real games, and we'll learn along the way.
And to follow up on the health side, Dawson, Nate Pickens are. What is kind of the timeline you're thinking for those guys?
Yeah, I think Dawson's progressing really well. He was in some live stuff yesterday. He's on a good track. Nate's a little bit slower, so we're still, I don't know honestly on him. But Dawson, I'd expect to be out there, in live play, sooner than later.
And AJ DeBonsa and Richie Saunders, 2 first-team All Big 12 guys. Everyone knows everything about these guys. We're waiting to see more on AJ in the college game, but just how excited are you to kind of just show these guys off to the nation, see what they can be on the floor together in games?
Well, number one, I really like coaching both of them. They're extremely hard workers. They both want to be really good, and so that makes it fun to coach them. We can push them. They do what we ask. But it's exciting for them to, not just those 2, but Rob as well, and really our whole group, but just get them to experience playing against other teams and learn and figure each other out. You try to do it against each other in practice, but it's just hard, when you're not going against somebody else. And so, they're extremely talented, and when they come together, that's what I get most excited about people getting ready to see.
Last thing for you, what did it mean to you to get that long-term extension from Brian Santiago? He made that a priority when he got the AD job. So what did that mean to you and your family to, have that long-term extension and get that support from this BYU administration?
It was huge. Brian and I have a great relationship along with the rest of the leadership at BYU. My wife and I and my kids, we love it in Provo, and we're excited for not only this year but many years to come.
And Cougar fans want nothing more than many more years to come with Kevin Young. He got a long-term extension. Him and Kalani Sitake are locked in with long-term extensions. They are the perfect men to lead BYU sports in the heart of Big 12 life for the Cougars. Speaking of the Big 12, we're watching Kansas State football and Texas Tech. Second quarter, 12 minutes to go. K-State up 7-0. Did it look like the Texas Tech just generated a takeaway in that game?
I think so. That's what it's looking like.
So Kansas State was on the move, but Texas Tech generates a takeaway. They've got the ball 12 minutes to go. So Red Raiders are down, but they've got the ball to try to tie things up. Some other scores around the Big 12 Conference today here in Week 10 actions. BYU is in a bye. 2 minutes to go in the fourth. Arizona State still up in Ames, 24-19. Oh, man. First quarter in Lawrence. Oklahoma State, they're up 7-3, 3:13 to go in the first.
That's insane.
Just earlier this show, I said Oklahoma State, they're
down and out.
They're down and out. They're done. Oh, my goodness. If Kansas loses that game, I might start thinking about firing Lance Leipold.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw the what ended up being wrong about the accusation that Texas Tech fans threw a knife at that game at Texas Tech, which ultimately resulted in the tortillas being banned. That ended up being not true. And now you're possibly on the ropes. Like, a lot of football left to be played. Wouldn't be surprised if Kansas storms back. But just to be down against that Oklahoma State team that's 1-7. Think about this. Oklahoma State hasn't won a Big 12 game since they beat BYU in 2023 in Stillwater in that rainy day in late November. It's been that long since Oklahoma State won a Big 12 game, and Kansas is down. So we'll keep tabs on that one. But that's kind of surprising just to see Kansas down early.
Yeah, I can't remember what the number was, but I saw another post this past week that said that Oklahoma State's only won one Power 4 game over the last year and a half, so between this year and 2024, and that was against Arkansas.
Isn't that crazy, too? Because I think when BYU joined the Big 12, I looked at them as like they are going to be an annual force, that you got to try to take out Oklahoma State, and they've just been a complete afterthought. They're going to have a new head coach next year, but tough times at Oklahoma State, but right now they're up 7-3. On Kansas. We'll continue to keep tabs on the Big 12. But coming up next, Mark Durant, BYU basketball analyst, joins us next to preview the BYU basketball season. Can't wait for that. Right here on Cougar Sports Saturday on KSL News Radio.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical, and I'm humbled to win Utah's Best of State for 2025 for the 15th year in a row. After 28 years, we're all about you. Over 1,700 5-star Google reviews and a 4.8 customer satisfaction score to prove it. We'll keep working hard for you. I've spent this year advocating with lawmakers for better Medicare reimbursement, ensuring you always have the best access to medical supplies you need. From Idaho Falls to St. George, our 11 stores are your home for comfort. When you hear Alpine Home Medical, think of that best of state experience every single time. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle. May yours surround you with insight, a healthy perspective, trust, and reassurance. The belief that our differences aren't that different, and compassion just when you need it most. Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
No, it's not too soon to start holiday shopping. Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday event is happening now through November 22nd. Shop $10 beauty minis from brands like MAC and Too Faced. Take 30% off Lancome and Touchland fragrances and body mists. With new offers dropping every week, our associates can help you find the perfect gifts. Head into Ulta Beauty today to shop our early Black Friday event. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
The perfect present doesn't always come wrapped under the tree. Treat your loved ones to an unforgettable afternoon or evening of music and laughter with the Utah Symphony at Abravanel Hall. With tickets to our holiday programs this December, you're not just giving a gift. You're sharing a heartfelt experience that will create cherished memories. Show them you care with the gift of music this season. Visit usuo.org/holiday to get your tickets.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack. Nate filling in for Kyle today as Kyle's out in Hawaii enjoying a bye-week vacation before everything ramps up next week. BYU football against Texas Tech. And BYU basketball tips off the season starting on Monday night in one of the marquee games in college basketball to open the season, BYU versus Villanova. That game tips off at 7:30 p.m. right here on KSL News Radio. And on the call of that game will be Greg Wrubell and his analyst, his colleague, Mark Durant, who joins us now here on Cougar Sports Saturday. Mark, these are good times for BYU sports, are they not?
Oh man, this is a good time to be a Cougar. I can't think of a better time. This is with the football team doing what they're doing, and then basketball, as the expectations have never been higher. And listening to Greg on the intro there, calling some plays from last season, I'm pretty excited. I get to hang out with that guy on the court side, so that's pretty fun. And it's about to get going. And I hope it's going through into April. We'll see how it goes this year.
And that's what's so exciting is that, BYU enters a season, BYU basketball, in the top 10, number 8 in the preseason AP top 25. I know that, for Kevin Young, he's looking at that and saying, this is what we expected. But I think for people that have watched this thing build over the years, like yourself, and I mean, it's got to be a little bit surreal. I know just from my vantage point, just seeing it, it is kind of like this is actually happening. BYU's going to play a game on Monday night against Villanova, a great brand, and BYU's the favorite and the higher-ranked team.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. So as a former player and speaking for former players and coaches for the last, 80 years, I mean, we did our best, worked hard to put BYU in a good position and recognizable and a national brand, and then to get into the Big 12 and to get a coach like Coach Young, who has such a great experience and NBA connections and kind of understands the landscape and is a terrific coach. And then the whole NIL deal, say what you like about it or don't like about it, but it has enabled BYU to get on more even footing with some of the more name brand type schools. And you're seeing kids that want to go there, the best kids in the country, like AJ, that recognize that this is a place where they can excel, they can get better, they can focus on their basketball, they can compete at the highest level on TV and in big games like Monday night, and go to the NCAA tournament, have success, and then make that next step to the NBA. So I hope this, with Yegor and AJ and Richie, I hope BYU can kind of establish themselves as a place where really good players want to come and can have success and go to the NBA. And like I said,
expectations never been higher, and rightly so. With a guy like AJ, with one of the best guards in the country, and Richie as the senior leadership, you got Kaba, you got Rob Wright, which is an amazing transfer from Baylor. Really nice supporting cast. I mean, this team, I think, can compete with anybody in the country. So, yeah, there's a lot to be excited about.
I'm going to ask you a difficult question because there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. But what makes you the most excited for this basketball season? Is it a single player? Is it the collective talent? What makes you most excited for this season?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously, AJ is an exciting, unique prospect. I mean, certainly we've had great players. My brother was a great scorer, Danny Ainge and Krasmer Chosic, and you just go down the line. Jimmer Fredette was a special talent. But no, we've never seen anybody like AJ. And so immediately that kind of pops in your head. How's he going to do? How's he going to perform? What kind of difference can he make for BYU? Can he make the difference to get us to the promised land, NCAA tournament, and those kind of things? So it's hard to think of this season outside of the AJ context. But what I'm excited about is that it's not just AJ. I mean, he's not going to be relied on to win every game for you and score 35 points for you to be successful. He's got such a great cast around him. I think playing with Richie is going to make AJ's life so much easier than it otherwise would have been, because teams are going to have to really concentrate on Richie. Same goes with Rob Wright, who's lightning quick. I mean, when you have that many weapons, those three specifically, and then that supporting cast, it's very difficult to game plan against BYU. It's very difficult to take something away because they have so many weapons. So obviously AJ is a superstar, and everybody's looking at him, and everybody wants to see how he'll do. But I think the real success of this team will come from the combination of Richie and AJ and Rob and the rest of that cast. It could be really something special.
Talking with Mark Durrant, BYU Sports Network analyst. You can listen to him and Greg Wrubell starting Monday night, 7:30 p.m. tip-off right here on KSL. Is this year 30 for you and Greg, Mark?
I think it's 29.
29?
I mean, Greg keeps track of that stuff. But, it's like marriage. When you get up in that many, it's just like you kind of lose track a little bit. But, yeah, I think it's 29. And I certainly wouldn't still be doing this if it weren't for the great Greg Wrubell. He's my good friend, and you guys know Greg, and he's the best in the business. And so it's, I mean, what a dream life I lead to sit on the front row watching guys like AJ and Richie and just talk about basketball with my good buddy. And it just so happens that there's a lot of people listening to me talk about it on the radio. So it's really fun. And it doesn't get past me how lucky I am to do it. And BYU fans are just tremendous to me and treat me so well. And I don't know how long I'll keep doing it. You can tell Greg tells me not to, but which could be sooner than later. But I'm just enjoying it.
What's the big question, though, going into this season that you have for this team? Because I think, like all of us, I think we're all fascinated to see by the positives. But at some point, this team's going to face adversity, and maybe that could come on Monday night. Like, what's maybe the question that you maybe have about this group that you want to start to get some answers on starting on Monday?
Yeah, so in general, I'm concerned about defense. They struggled last year, won a lot of games but gave up a lot of points, struggled against Alabama, shutting down the three, but that wasn't just that game. It was a consistent theme. They didn't look particularly good at it against Nebraska. They did better against North Carolina in those exhibition games. I think the team has what it takes to be an elite defensive team. That starting five of AJ, talk a lot about AJ's offense. He is a tremendous defender. If he focuses on that a little bit and his skills, he's just all over the floor. You got a guy like Kennard Davis who's come in, and he's a tremendous defender. You got Kaba protecting the rim. I mean, that initial five is a great defensive team, but you really need to focus on it, get better at it, have a better performance, I think, from that second unit defensively. And if they can get better at defense with that offense, I mean, look out. I mean, it's going to be pretty amazing. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they could lose Monday night, and there's going to be hiccups. they may go undefeated in the preseason. They may lose 3 or 4. I don't know. It's not going to be all roses and daisies for them. AJ will have some off games. He's still young, so there'll be some learning curve. But what I want for this team is not so much for them to be really good in November and December. I want them to be good in March and April. And I think, as they grow together, get some good chemistry, figure things out, tighten up that defense, that they can put themselves in a spot late in the season where they're at their best and can have their best chance to go deep in the tournament.
What are your thoughts on BYU's bigs? So obviously you lose Foose from last season, who's a mainstay and a big name for BYU basketball over the course of 4 years. You return Keba Keita. He started the season pretty well, but then by the end of the season, offensively, he was playing a lot better than the start. What do you make of the BYU big situation beyond Keba Keita?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Foose was an all-timer. He provided some real offense for you on the block and had some big games. But you're right, Keba really improved last year, and so far, what I've seen this year, he looks really good, and obviously super athletic. But he's a difference maker. I mean, I sense, I can see almost a dramatic difference when he's not on the floor. And that's good because he's that good, but it's also bad because he's not always going to be on the floor. So you need guys to step up. Boskovic, I think they want to use him a little bit. He's big enough and also can stretch the floor, but not as good a defender. Staten, he's still early to kind of figure him out, but I think that's maybe one of the biggest question marks that the team has is beyond Keba at the 5 spot. What can you do? And maybe you even play a guy like AJ down low. I don't know. He's certainly long enough to play that, but that'll be something they'll need to figure out. And guys will have an opportunity to step up. I really like Mboop. He's really impressed me. So, he's not as big, but big, strong kid, and I really like him. And so maybe he's the answer, but it's still a little bit of a question.
Last thing for you, Mark, and we'll let you go. Appreciate the time here on this Saturday. How big was it last year for Kevin Young in this program I know KY is big on proof of concepts, but to have that proof of concept that BYU can win in the postseason, get to a Sweet 16, to almost help with the momentum, because when you bring up playing your best basketball in March and April, just how big of a momentum driver is that last year to carry over into this team with what looks to be a more talented roster this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge deal. I mean, success builds success, and it breeds upon itself. And, when you're trying to build a program, I mean, that was Kevin Young's first year. He hadn't coached college basketball. There were some questions, and, I think that team got better. I mean, the end of the year was amazing for BYU, notwithstanding that Alabama loss, but the games that they won and on the road and in the tournament, I think that's a huge stepping stone going forward, and you get a lot of those guys back that have had that experience with some of this new young talent, and there's no reason to think that this team won't be better and that they can't get further. And Coach Young will, he's learning too. I mean, as good a coach as he is, it's a learning process for him. He's getting better, and so all those things together. It certainly makes me optimistic, let's say. I've never been – I always wear the blue-colored goggles, man, as you know. But I've never been more optimistic about a year than this year. And so, like I said, there'll be some hiccups, but I'm really excited about this year.
Well, enjoy all the fun travels on this non-conference schedule in Big 12 play. You got Vegas, Madison Square Garden, Boston Garden. I mean, This is amazing stuff. So enjoy it, all of it, and I know Cougar Nation will be listening here on KSL and the BYU Sports Network.
Hey, I appreciate it, Nate. Mitch, you guys do great work, and I appreciate you and all the Cougar fans. And let's go football, let's go basketball, let's make this a year to remember.
That's Mark Durant here on KSL News Radio. You can listen to him on Monday night for BYU and Villanova. Appreciate it, Mark.
You bet. Take it easy, guys.
All right. Mark Durant here on KSL News Radio. Taking a break, final timeout. We'll get a check-in on Texas Tech and Kansas State. It's been a wild game in Manhattan. We'll check in on that one here on Cougar Sports Saturday.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Let me tell you an amazing story. Last week, a customer came in. They were a creative director for an agency, and they were frustrated that their old, slow computer wasn't processing their files quick enough. He had a big project due and could not afford any delays. Well, we hooked him up with one of our new, powerful 2025 desktops for only $999, and he was able to complete his project with ease. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
Let me ask you a question. You have a best friend? How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency?
Someone on the other line said they kidnapped my son, and they're demanding $500,000.
On September 12th, 1995, 12-year-old McKay Everett disappeared from his home in Conroe, Texas. It was a crime that shocked the community because the suspect was so unlikely, so unexpected.
Former high-ranking police official. He'd run for sheriff at one point.
Law enforcement personnel were pretty much split down the middle over whether or not he actually did this.
And to this day, McKay's mother, Paulette, still feels that justice was never truly served.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Guys, don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online, where Gage's skilled ring designers will work with her to create the perfect setting, matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com. We're engagement's middle name.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack with you. Kyle Ireland will be back next week. He's coming back from Hawaii, but it's been a blast hanging out with you in the studio today, man, talking ball.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
We've been watching this Kansas State-Texas Tech game. Obviously, we're watching it closely because, one, BYU plays Texas Tech next week, but also with the tease from College Game Day today, if Texas Tech wins, it feels like we are going to see College Game Day in Lubbock next week. So I think we can all agree we want to see BYU play on the biggest stages possible. So in some respects, you don't want to say you're rooting for someone, but let's see Texas Tech get it done here. Texas Tech's up 9-7. This has been a crazy game. It started off with Kansas State up 7-0. There's 2 minutes left in the second quarter. It's a 2-minute timeout. Texas Tech settled for a field goal. Next possession for Kansas State, they fumble the football. What was it, on first down?
Yeah, first down.
Texas Tech recovers on inside the red zone. Score a touchdown 2 plays later. Then they missed the PAT. And dads everywhere watching the game are saying that PAT might come back to cost them. 9-7 with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Oklahoma State's still up on Kansas 7-3. And then one of BYU's best wins of the season takes a little bit of the hit. Arizona State knocks off Iowa State without Sam Leavitt, 24-19 in Ames. So 4-game skid for Iowa State. That offensive firepower that we saw early on against BYU, it was a total front. Iowa State did not show up today in tough weather conditions in Ames, but still, ASU showing some toughness going into the Midwest and getting a tough win without Sam Leavitt.
Yeah, I can't believe that one because after seeing how Arizona State performed against Utah a few weeks ago without Sam Leavitt, I didn't think they had a chance.
I'm floored by that one. But hey, Kenny Dillingham, he gets his teams dialed in, man. They never seem to have a drop off other than that Utah game. They're a super motivated program. It's a good win for ASU. Arizona, Colorado tonight, and then Utah and Cincinnati later tonight. Also coming up on Monday, college basketball tips off. BYU and Villanova. We just talked to Mark Durant about that. How do you see this game playing out on Monday night, season opener for the most anticipated season in program history?
Really excited for it. I've got to admit, I'm still. It takes me a little bit to transition into basketball mode, just because football's 8-0, and you're thinking college football playoff rankings come out Tuesday, so football's always on the forefront of your mind. But I think they're going to play well. I think having the exhibition game at Nebraska is a spot where I feel like this can really benefit BYU. Not because it's going to be a road environment. I mean, I think BYU is going to have a lot more fans in Villanova just because BYU always does really well in Vegas. But I think being in a spot where you're not in Provo and, you're playing another power team in Villanova, I think it's going to be a good spot. I'm excited to see how BYU does. I could see them, kind of struggling out the gates, but I think Villanova could be in the same spot where you're playing a preseason top 10 team and the season's underway and you're excited. You're in Las Vegas, but I feel pretty good about BYU's chances there. Last I saw, they were a 7.5-point favorite, which is crazy to think about. BYU is a 7.5-point favorite over Villanova.
A great brand.
A great brand in a neutral court. So I think it's BYU's going to win the game. I think it's just a matter of by how much. And then it's just a matter of staying healthy and just seeing how things go throughout the rest of November.
I think BYU wins, too. I think BYU will have the advantage on the glass. Talking with one of their insiders that covers Villanova, there's been some issues rebounding the basketball for Villanova, but you never know. With game ones, it's always a little bit of a filling out process. So I'm sure there'll be moments where it's not always perfection for BYU, but I just love the ability that we even saw in the exhibition from DeBonce of how he can just get you a bucket with ease. And that's something that's so nice for this team compared to the last, really in the history of BYU basketball, where you just got a guy that can easily get you a bucket to end a scoring drought. I feel pretty confident BYU is not going to be a team that has these lulls. Think back to, December, January, when BYU was going through a little bit of a rut early on in Big 12 play. They would go through these extended periods without a bucket. I don't think that's going to be a problem for this team. I think that offensively, this is going to be one of the best offenses in college basketball. And like Mark Durant, I do want to see improved defensive play, but I do believe they will have that this year. And I'm really optimistic about this team, but I think BYU has the edge on the glass. And, Villanova's got a completely new look roster, like many teams in college basketball. New head coach with Kevin Willard, who comes in from Maryland, brings in a roster that has 9 new guys. And according to Villanova people, that's a new world. They're not used to that. They're used to having program guys like Jalen Brunson's, Dante DiVincenzo's that just go through the ranks at Villanova. So it's a complete reset for Villanova, but I think BYU's the better team. And I'm also, I feel like we're just barely scratching the surface of what we've seen so far from Rob Wright. I think the exhibition games, he was on a minute restriction against Nebraska, against North Carolina, played pretty well, 12 points, 5 assists in 32 minutes. But I still feel like that guy's due for some big games this year, and wouldn't shock me if he goes off for a big performance against Villanova on Monday night in Vegas. But huge game. It's a doubleheader, too, where the first game is the defending national champion Florida Gators against Arizona. So we get a chance to see a Big 12 team in action on Monday night, which is always tricky. Monday games are always tough for BYU because you get no Sunday practice and feel for the court, but BYU's not too stressed about that. So I think the Cougs get it done on Monday.
Yeah, I think so. Just a quick question. If BYU has the ball and the clock is running out, they need a bucket to win a game, who do you think gets the shot in that situation? Because Rob Wright can handle the ball really well. Richie Saunders had success last year. You got DeBanza. Where would you go?
I think it's DeBanza.
So.
I think he's the guy that he can rise up and elevate it over anyone, and he can get a bucket for you. I mean, I think you got a handful of options, where last year at this time, you didn't feel like you had a proven guy. This year, you've got 3 guys that absolutely, and to a lesser extent, Kennard Davis is that 4th guy. He was a prolific scorer at Southern Illinois in the Missouri Valley. So this is a loaded team, and we are going to have you covered throughout the year here on Cougar Sports Saturday, and we'll have BYU football coverage next week, extended pregame from Lubbock here on KSL News Radio.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. 42 million Americans are suddenly in a tough spot. Those needing federal food aid are told that money's run out due to the government shutdown. A federal judge ordering the Trump administration to use emergency funds. ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
Jenna Jackson, a mother of 4 who runs a tree farm in Oklahoma, says without Medicaid and SNAP, she would have to make tough choices.
My dog is sick, but I have to eat. So the dog is ultimately going to have to suffer, or the kids are going to have to wear shoes that are too small for an extra month because we have to buy dinner.
President Trump calling on GOP lawmakers to end the filibuster. Writing on social media, it is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card.
Some states are covering SNAP benefits with money from their budgets. To end the shutdown, Democrats are demanding extension of expiring tax credits for those applying for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act. Republicans say they're in favor of extending the credits, but demand that Democrats first cooperate in reopening the government. Investigators are at the scene where 5 people were killed in a fast-moving house fire in Paterson, New Jersey last night. Also there, ABC's Marcus Solis.
A Halloween night tragedy here in Paterson, a fast-moving, wind-fueled fire. The heat so intense, the siding on the house next door is melted from the heat of those flames that broke out. Fire crews responding to this 2-story home. They found the 5 victims upstairs on the 2nd floor.
In Florida, a 15-year-old is under arrest for allegedly threatening to bomb Halloween trick-or-treaters. Police credit another teen with tipping them off and preventing the attack. ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
The sheriff praising the teen who spoke up, saying it is a powerful reminder to kids and students that if you see something online that doesn't seem right, don't like it, don't share it, report it.
Investigators say they found bomb-making materials in the teen's family's garage. You're listening to ABC News.
Are you within 3 years of filing for Social Security? You've heard about delaying your benefits to get a bigger benefits check, right? But guess what? That could be a huge mistake. When you consider your taxes, Medicare premiums, and other benefits, you could potentially get more income by filing early. Find out the precise timing that could get you the most money possible with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't leave one dime on the table that's rightfully yours. Schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. That's 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
You're listening to a pre-recorded paid commercial program brought to you by Boss Retirement Solutions.
Saving for retirement is a great start, but it's what you do with this money that really matters. How will you reduce your taxes, generate income, pay for the skyrocketing cost of healthcare, and optimize your Social Security benefits? Welcome to Retirement Solutions Radio with Tyson Thacker and Ryan Thacker from Boss Retirement Solutions. This is where you can count on straightforward and objective advice about the toughest challenges you'll face in retirement today. And now, here are your hosts, Tyson Thacker and Ryan Thacker.
If you're like most people, your retirement savings isn't all in one place. In other words, you may have some of your money in an IRA, money in a 401k, you've got a separate stock account, maybe a bonds account, you've got mutual funds somewhere else, maybe an annuity or real estate, and don't forget Social Security. It's important to understand that all of these different sources of income in retirement could be taxed differently. And knowing how these accounts are taxed could end up saving you a small fortune when you start taking this money out during your retirement years. Welcome to Retirement Solutions Radio. I'm Tyson Thacker. Along with my brother Ryan, we are the Retirement Brothers from Boss Retirement Solutions and Advisors. And if you are in or nearing retirement, we've got a fabulous show for you today. Now, you probably know exactly how much money are in all of those accounts that you've saved for retirement. But my question right now is, do you know how much you're going to pay in taxes when you retire? That's the most important number you need to know, because if you don't know how much money you'll owe in taxes when you're retired, you really don't know how much money you have to spend, right? So today we're going to talk to you about all of these different sources of income and how they get taxed during your retirement years. Plus, we're going to share some little-known tax saving strategies that could end up saving you a fortune. And Ryan, as we were preparing for today's show, and it's all about taxes, it reminded us of this event that we did not too long ago with a friend of ours by the name of Ed Slott. He's known as America's Tax IRA expert and known by the Wall Street Journal as the best source for IRA information, and that includes taxes, right? And Ryan, what did